That's them blocking out the signal. Yeah, fix radio, man. That's not me. That's them blocking out the signal. I got nothing to do with that.
Hold tight. I can hear y'all. Just put it on mute for a second. Mute for 1 second. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. That's right, brothers and sisters. Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathering of Christ Church, live with you all. Live with you all. And yes, do we have a broadcast for you today? And please be ready, because I'm not going to be able to broadcast as long as we usually do. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. 515-605-9327. We open up the lines in about 30 to 40 minutes, and we're going to go in. Giving you all an update on what happened after the prayer yesterday. Okay, I'm going to do that. The name of our program today is Praying Through the New World Order's Chaos. Praying through the New World Order chaos. And there's a lot of prayers that went up yesterday, and I thank you all, and I'm going to give you some updates on what's going on with the people we prayed for. My brother Tony, as well as brother, that's right, Leonard, the elder statesman. I have to give y'all an update on what's going on behind the scenes, what's happening. My brother was in the hospital last night. I'm going to give y'all the update on that, Tony. And wait till you hear what happened there. Leonard was in the hospital overnight. We said pray for him. The New York body, an elder statesman. We're going to find out what happened to him. But before we do that, live from the Feast of Tabernacle, Elder Gabar, are you with me?
Yes, Elder. I'm right here. Hold on. I'm here with the people. Hold on.
Okay. Let me bring you in.
Okay.
Live. Tell us what's going on at Feast of Tabernacle.
All right,
Tell us what's going on.
Let me strip the camera. So here with the family. All right, we got some people here. Just got baptized a few months ago. How long you got baptized?
Oh, we're waiting to get baptized.
Waiting to get baptized. So they take to the water. So we got people here. You see my wife.
Yeah, I just finished washing a lot.
Yeah.
So we basically it's the water's coming down a little bit, but people are just preparing, putting tarps over their pavilions and over their tents. So I think tomorrow's supposed to rain as well, so we're getting ready for that. We just, Elder, can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, I can see you. I'm listening to you. I'm looking at you.
Okay, all right. So great. So you can see these all the tents here. Let me see if I can see. All right, Saddam sister, you're live. You're live with Elder Ricard. GODC Block Talk. We're here.
Shalom.
Of the family here, just having a good time. That's the choir director. Okay. GOCC Philly. Yep. Philly in the house. So, Shalom, sister. Say hello to the camera. You're live with Elder Ricard on the show. Say shalom. We're live. We just passing through.
So what exactly have y'all been doing there this week? Well, I was there,
Well,
but you know.
We had a basketball tournament yesterday. New York won.
Oh
Philly,
man.
it was 72 to 53. Yeah, so but they both did good. You know.
So the young men was out there playing basketball. I know people are out in the woods. What else is going on over there?
So I know we had some. We went to the range today with Yashar. That was fun
Okay.
as well.
Great.
We also, tomorrow is going to rain. So Friday we're going to have a volleyball competition. The females and the brothers are going to compete. You see the young ladies here hanging out. Say hello. Brother Ricard, we're doing a live. We're live. All right, let me see what Bishop is doing. Bishop is always cooking something.
You gotta get some of this.
Let me see what's going on, Bishop.
You gotta get some of this.
Say shalom, Bishop.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, Bishop of Philadelphia. What you got going there?
Man, listen, I got some New York strip. I got some lamb on the grill. I got some potato salad. I got some greens.
Oh,
You
Lord.
understand?
Lord.
Yes, sir.
They're getting busy.
I got a plate for you.
Man, I'm gonna have to take you up on a rain date for that. But thank you.
No doubt.
We're here for the broadcast.
Hey, I'm always cooking. We doing well out here at the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Friday we're gonna have a fun day. We're gonna have a volleyball. It's gonna, all the vendors. We're gonna go out. We went. We did the vending yesterday, so the people ever had a good time. Shalom, sis. Shalom. To
Shalom.
the elders.
Shalom. Shalom, sisters. Shalom.
All right. They're doing it. You know how they do. So
Dwell
these
in
are all the
tents.
tents here. These
That's
are all
a
the kids
blessing.
right here.
That's a blessing.
See the sisters here. Say shalom to the elder. We're live.
Shalom.
All right.
Oh, look.
DOCC.
That's absolutely wonderful. That's absolutely
Wednesday show.
wonderful. Blessings.
Okay, there's a generator. Let me move from the generator. Shalom, sister. We're live in the show. Say hello to the Ricard. All right. Shalom, sister. All right.
Look at that.
These are all the tents. So we here, we
Okay.
we had
All right.
shalom, sister. Say hello to Elder Ricard. You know what it is. We're live. What you guys are doing? What you guys are cooking?
Look at that. Look at that.
What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay.
Dwelling
This
in
sister
boots.
here,
Tabernacle.
she's the,
Lord, have
expert
mercy.
tabernacle. What is this? What's going on? Let me take a quick peek here. My goodness. You know
Lord,
what it
have
is.
mercy. What they got
Yes,
there?
They're doing it.
Shalom. How are you?
That's the girl Lynn, she's doing her thing. Always. Oh praises, oh praises. So it's a little wet, but we're making do.
Okay.
We're making do.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
well, yeah, I'll see you soon enough, brother. And thank you for the update for the Feast of Tabernacles. And may the Most High be with you. I'll talk with you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to show you the basketball trophy, but the kids, they ran with it. We're trying to find with it, so they out so. But we'll keep in touch. We'll be listening, and then we're gonna come on. Let me
Yeah. Well,
we're setting up in the pavilion so people can come see you live.
Okay. Okay, if you want to chime in at any time because I have a serious lesson to go into, a broadcast, then please, you can come in any time, but let me bring in Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. All right, shalom, Elder.
Shalom, bless you. There go Elder Gabal, Feast of Tabernacles.
Live.
The East Coast, live. Bless you. Elder Lawyer, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Live and direct.
Come on in.
Shalom.
Let me see you, young man.
All right.
I'm waiting on the camera there.
Oh, sorry about that. All right. We should be good now.
Oh, you're good to go. How are you doing, young man?
I'm doing well, sir. I can't complain at all. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Get some scriptures together because I have some good news.
Yes, sir.
I have some good news and I have a little bad news, but we'll deal with that a little later. Okay. The Gathering of Christ Church here. Brothers and sisters, how are you doing? So Elder Lawyer, we came on for an emergency broadcast to ask people out there throughout the earth to pray for a few people that came down sick. right?
Absolutely.
Now, and even though, I was feeling a little what's going on, but I fight through it, whatever it is, a little queasy. Every time you go out there, it's hard to breathe. But two things in particular that I want to thank the Most High for, and I need you to read some scriptures with me for that before we actually go into the broadcast.
Yes, sir.
The broadcast tonight is titled "Praying Through the New World Order's Chaos." Okay, praying through it, because there's so much in the earth that could get us negative, or or whatever the case is. But in particular, I was feeling a certain type of way when I heard that my brother was going to the hospital yesterday, Tony.
Yeah.
I was feeling a certain type of way. I really was. And the reason why, not because anyone can get sick, but, I had a big fallout with him. And I had a big fallout with him, and there was no opportunity to really let him know that I didn't mean to go, he did something that I didn't like, but I didn't mean to go all in on him like that. And then the first opportunity I got a chance to speak with him, he called me to let me know that he's going to one of those hospitals because he wasn't feeling well in North Philadelphia. Temple University in particular, Tony did, right? So here it is. I'm prepping him, and I'm already hearing about deaths and other people dying and all these other things, in the hospital, whatever the case is. So I'm trying to direct him and navigate him through this, right? So I'm praying, anxious next to the phone, texting him through the whole thing and asking Tony what's going on. Then he says, well, I'm still not feeling well. They got an IV on me. I'm doing well a little bit since the IV. And I'm like, is there any test? I'm still texting. I have the text on my phone. And then I ask, well, what's going on? He says, well, they took blood work. I said, have you been deemed under this Dovik spelled backward? I'm like, did they test you for that? He says, well, I'm sure they'll do whatever they got to do with the blood. I'm waiting. Now here it is. I'm anxious because I haven't heard from him for about 2 hours now. And I'm looking at my phone. Tony, come on, man. And then he texts me and said, well, the blood work didn't come back yet. And then around near midnight, I got a call. I mean, he texts me and says, it's all done. They test my blood. There was nothing going on. The IV made it work, and I'm going home.
All praises. All praises.
I mean, the last thing, and it makes me reflect and think about that. The last thing that you want to deal with is someone you didn't have a chance to say that the last conversation you had was bad, was in conflict.
Yeah.
And that the only thing came to my mind is that argument really wasn't worth it. You understand? When I looked at it, it's taking inventory and appreciating and being gracious for the opportunity to live and appreciate those we love. Right? So that's all that came in my mind. Like we fight over like frivolous things that are, even though I'm not happy with what he did, but all in all, all in all, I, he's doing well.
Definitely good to hear. Definitely some good news.
Now, and I told him he better get his behind up and start working in this church, right? That's a whole nother conversation. But anyway.
Yes, sir.
I like to thank the brothers and sisters out there who put a prayer out there for my brother. And we're going to have a scripture on that in a couple of moments, how the prayer of the righteous availeth much. With all the bad news, we know something is going on out there from the time that I seen the clouds in the air, lawyer, that were separated. They weren't regular clouds. It looked like waves was going through them when I was driving on my way into New England, you know what I mean, to do some things. And I noticed the clouds weren't right. And then right after that, the next day, boom, what happens? An earthquake on Haiti. An earthquake on Haiti. Right afterwards, subsequent to that. And I was like, oh my goodness. I knew something was going on. And when you go outside, I don't know if you notice, Elder Lawyer, it's becoming harder and harder for us to actually breathe. There's breathing issues. People are going into the ICU and all that with respiratory issues, with asthma-like symptoms, right? But I'll digress on that because I wanted to save the crescendo for Brother Leonard. He's an elder brother, an elder statesman from the New York body, the husband of Shirley. Went in the hospital last night, was treated. Now, this is an elder brother, gray hair, white like wool when you see him. Right? He was released from the hospital feeling 100% better just a few hours ago.
All praises.
Whoa. It's so good to hear good news for a change, right? Finally, and the Bible, can you get this for me real quick, Elder Lawyer, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir.
I need you to grab before we go into the broadcast because, hey, do we have a broadcast for you? Praise the Most High for allowing our family, my brother Tony, as well as Brother Leonard. I'd like to thank the Most High for covering them and the angels protecting them out. I'm sure right now my brother, he went to see my mother because he's fine, but he's laying down right now. So I'm just grateful. We have a broadcast for you this evening, man. And Leonard, man, it was so good. It was so good to hear good news, knowing that something, because when I go outside, it's tough to breathe, Elder Lawyer. I don't know if you've noticed that. But when you come inside, it's kind of better. I have to put the air con on. It's like chemicals or something out there. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe. I don't know. But Elder Lawyer, please read this for me. James, the 5th chapter, the 13th verse, down to the 13th to 16, if you may.
Yes, sir. The book of James, chapter 5, verse number 13. Is any sick or is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing songs.
It says, is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. And we all prayed together. And I know that prayer went up to the Most High and came down. It goes into the senses of the Most High and come down like thunder. Right? Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. And man, I was praying hard last night. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Sing. Be grateful for today. We are, I mean, so many times as individuals, Elder Lawyer, we find reasons to be down, negative.
Right.
Negative responses. Always in some conflict. Believing the conflict is from the outside of us. Having no peace. Blaming, complaining about everything, not appreciating nothing. But when health is on the line, that brings what? That brings everything into true reality concerning what's important. We don't have a chance to just appreciate life. It's one chaotic thing from another instead of just saying, you know what? I'm throwing my hands up. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm just going to thank the Most High for life, what He blessed me with, and stop fighting everything for a change. So sing. Sing. Right? Come on.
Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with the oil in the name of the Lord.
Man, prayer is so important. Read.
And the prayer of faith shall save the sick.
It shall
and
what?
the Lord shall raise him up.
It says, and the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Most High shall raise him what?
Up.
Raise him up. Read.
And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him.
And that's what's going on, right? You understand, after a healing, that the heavens responded. And by doing so, it's a requirement not to think backward, but what? Live your life to the fullness in the spirit of the Most High in righteousness going forward. If anything happened in the past, it can be forgiven. But understand, that's right. How we live our lives affects our immunity. It affects our immunity. It does. When we live a lifestyle running fast and not having time to reflect for ourselves, out there always chasing and running, ripping and running, chasing $1 or whatever the case is, not having time to reflect, I'll tell you, your immunity goes down like this. And then overindulging in all types of things, eating the wrong foods, Elder Lawyer, drinking excessively, smoking, and all these other things, your immunity goes down. So when there are something out there, when something is out there, chemicals or whatever the case is, it's going to have a profound effect on those whose immunity is already low. And I thank the Most High, man, that for today, and like I said, I'm going to deal with today because tomorrow have enough evils in itself. For today, the prayers were answered.
Absolutely. I think as well, if I can mention this real quick, as you're mentioning the effect that our activity has on our bodies, it shows that even the Most High is gracious unto us, even in our health. You know, even in times in which we're not eating the best, we're not living the best, Most High is still gracious in the sense that the illness or the sickness or the stress that comes upon our bodies does not come immediately. It comes through time. It comes accumulative. It's accumulative. So even in that, the Most High is gracious, and He gives us time to work things out and get things right before we get to the point of almost no return.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, that's a great point, Elder Lawyer. But going in, I just thank the Most High. Bless you, Sister Shirley. Bless you, Brother Lionel. And I thank the Most High again for having my brother. Man, listen, I don't worry too much. But you have to realize, growing up with my brother in the music, this guy was multi-talented. This guy at 5 years old, Elder Lawyer, was kicking 5 hats in a row in his head. We had a singing group called the Diamond Five, which he was the star of, actually. The guy could sing amazingly. He was like what we thought would be the next type of Michael Jackson type deal. And of course we had Brother Leonard. I said Brother Leonard. I had Lionel on the line. Brother Leonard. I said it earlier. The Most High blessed and He healed Brother Leonard. I don't know why I have Lionel on my mind. Brother Leonard was healed. Let me correct that. Sister Shirley and Brother Leonard. Yes, thank you. But we had the Diamond Five, and he wanted to dance. We were signed to Alpha International for a while. And I'm writing the songs because I didn't need to sing, even though I could sing. He was the singer. Actually, Elder Lawyer. And I tell this story all the time. He wanted to play basketball for Pals. He's talking, you know how the neighborhood POW basketball, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. The police athletic league.
Yeah, my mother was like, boy, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, man, you're not going to, you can't play basketball like that. Let me play basketball. You sing. Y'all always telling me what to do, da-da-da-da. But, you know, we end up losing that particular deal. And I just started saying, listen, I'm not going to have anything where I'm dependent on anyone else. I'm going to write for myself, and I'm going to go into the business by myself, right? So that's how that went. But yeah, we grew up as we grew older. I mean, sometimes people couldn't even tell us apart growing up in our 20s. And man, I'm just so glad that he's feeling better. But I'm going to leave that there. Jumping right in, Elder Lawyer. Jumping right in before I open up the calls. 515-605-9327. Praying through the New World Order's chaos is the topic today. So I'm going to start off because a lot of people don't understand what the New World Order. Oh yeah, I used to light them up playing basketball in Philly. I'm going to tell you, North Philadelphia, listen. People talking about, oh yeah. Lawyer, I was lighting them up, young man. Junior high, high school. You know, I was playing Franklin High with Pooh Richardson and all that, but you know, oh yeah. But you know, on the basketball courts, 15th and Diamond, right there on Susquehanna, you know. But yeah, man. Jumping right in. The New World Order. And bless you, Brother Leonard. Bless you. The New World Order. A lot of people don't understand what the New World Order is. Usually when it comes up, it's under some type of cloud of conspiracy, a private cabal planning to destroy humanity. And it seems like it's overemphasized as a conspiracy. Right? To a degree that no one understands what the New World Order is. Right? And we have to pray through the New World Order's chaos. Right? The New World Order, in a nutshell, the modern New World Order, is when the media, through suggestion, has more power than the public in influence. In a democracy, in a government, when the media can sway legislation and the media becomes more powerful than an elected official, where the media can make or break a politician, but not the other way around. The media has an agenda. And the agenda is a religious agenda, Elder Lawyer, which is to bring the whole world under one spirit, one mind, one hive mind. Let me use that. As it was at the Tower of Babel. No one could understand really what the New World Order is if they don't know the Bible and why God, the Most High God of the Bible, split the tongues. Split the tongue so that they could do what? Not understand or communicate. And through that, left off from building technology that would destroy mankind in earth in preparation to battle on the outside of earth. And I just unpacked a lot in a nutshell. But you can't stare through the chaos unless you understand the agenda. And at the end of the New World Order's agenda, under Satan, folks, because he's the God of it. And I keep on mentioning in this, and people are downplaying it, saying, you're going to call Satan a God? Well, the Bible calls him a God. Angels that fall into this realm are deemed gods by what? Secular religions. It's not mythology. This is not mythological. So when it talks about the God, this God has a plan to war in heaven. Well, not before destroying the chosen people of God in earth. So let's hear it from a politician first, Elder Lawyer. I have JFK queued up, warning people about the New World Order. Shortly after this particular speech, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. He was assassinated subsequent to his speech. Right? Because why? According to the powers that be, he broke code. He broke code. On top of that, there was something else fermenting within the United States that was sending a serious message to the earth, to the world, Elder Lawyer. And that in particular was the unity of the blacks, the descendants of slaves in America. The same time JFK came into prominence at the same time. Now, I need y'all to examine this real quick. Okay? Now, all right. Yeah, that's good. So he was going to get in the way of the military cabal destroying our communities to a degree. Not that he could stop it already. Right? The unity of I'm giving you a history lesson real quick, young man. I know you probably already know this. You heard it a billion times. But in a nutshell, we were unified, and that was strengthening our people, the blacks and the people suffering throughout the earth, who were watching all at once the children of slaves uniting as one against a superpower. Within a superpower, we help build. See that? Are you with me? So, through this building of superpower, no sooner as they killed JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson came on the scene. Subsequent to that, even though he signed the Civil Rights Act, that was a bait and switch. That was a bait and switch, okay? Because the Civil Rights Act wasn't made so that they could actually help us. It was made so that the New World Order could infiltrate us. Before that time, white liberals weren't to be trusted. And JFK is going to tell you why in a moment. Because the original party that was destroying black people was the Democrat Party. So this was letting the wolf into the hen's house. And then what happened after that? Boom. All of a sudden, Vietnam. Now, a lot of people don't know the Vietnamese, the black Vietnamese, a lot of them are from the lost tribes of Israel. Right? So no sooner as Lyndon B. Johnson came on the scene, he started what? They began a war. The power structure that JFK was defying now looked at Lyndon B. Johnson and said, well, okay, you up next. We need that war. And then began to draft our communities, our people, not just our people, Americans, including us, into the armies to fight war. The famous gelling of Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, to slow up that unification that they seen, which was strengthening God's people, the children of Israel throughout the earth. By what? The civil rights movement. Our people standing in solidarity before the civil rights things were signed is what scared them. So now, war breaks a people, breaks a nation. And then on top of that, they did what? That's right. The Viacom, and you can think it was just the Viacom, but it was the New World Order over their military that was giving the Vietnamese women syphilis, and sending them as bioweapons amongst what? Our strong soldiers. That's right. That was a bioweapon used through people to infect people and to bring all types of diseases into a community that was unified before the war. Listen to what I'm showing you here. Subsequent to that, what happens? China and the other areas start pushing heroin. Heroin, all on the soldiers. They were coming back addicted to heroin. Drugs, the free lifestyle of Woodstock, the liberal movement was all calculated to destroy the strength of that unification we seen. Even though they had different ideologies between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and then sometimes they had public spats, on a lot of fronts they were unified. And that unification was a genuine love for their people. Were they perfect? No. But they were too unified in love for the people. So what happens? They came in with a greater plan to do what? Government programs and subsidies to house the women so that the women wouldn't be dependent on the man for stability. Women lib came in and made us believe, made our sisters believe that there was a fight between her and her man when that was a white woman thing, wanted to work in the workforce and have equal pay and all that. Black women were satisfied being with their man. They didn't want to be all out there like that, and broke the family through what? A socialistic plan, socialism, where eventually the state controls the people. This is what? This is why they had to get rid of JFK. So without any further ado, let's hear it. Praying through the New World Order's chaos. And shalom, Tone. I'm glad you're doing well. I know you're watching. Let's look at it. All right.
A greater threat to our security. If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
Fair
its
use.
Preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion.
Fair use.
For the facts of the matter are that this nation's foes have openly boasted of acquiring through our newspapers information they would otherwise hire agents to acquire through theft, bribery, or espionage. That details of this nation's covert preparations to counter the enemy's covert operations have been available to every newspaper reader, friend and foe alike, that the size, the strength, the location, and the nature of our forces and weapons, and our plans and strategy for their use, have all been pinpointed in the press and other news media to a degree sufficient to satisfy any foreign power, and that in at least one case, the publication of details concerning a secret mechanism whereby satellites were followed required its alteration at the expense of considerable time and money. The newspapers which printed these stories were loyal, patriotic, responsible, and well-meaning. Had we been engaged in open warfare, they undoubtedly would not have published such items. But in the absence of open warfare, they recognized only the tests of journalism and not the tests of national security. And my question tonight is whether additional tests should not now be adopted. That question is for you alone to answer. No public official should answer it for you. No governmental plan should impose its restraints against your will. But I would be failing in my duty to the nation in considering all of the responsibilities that we now bear and all of the means at hand to meet those responsibilities if I did not commend this problem to your attention and urge its thoughtful consideration. On many earlier occasions I have said, and your newspapers have constantly said, that these are times that appeal to every citizen's sense of sacrifice and self-discipline. They call out to every citizen to weigh his rights and comforts against his obligations to the common good. I cannot now believe that those citizens who serve in the newspaper business consider themselves exempt from that appeal. I have no intention of establishing a new Office of War Information to govern the flow of news. I am not suggesting any new forms of censorship or new types of security classifications. I have no easy answer to the dilemma that I have posed and would not seek to impose it if I had one. But I am asking the members of the newspaper profession and the industry in this country to re-examine their own responsibilities, to consider the degree and the nature of the present danger, and to heed the duty of self-restraint which that danger imposes upon us all. Every newspaper now asks itself, with respect to every story, is it news? All I suggest is that you add the question, is it in the interest of national security? And I hope that every group in America, unions and businessmen and public officials at every level, will ask the same question of their endeavors and subject their actions to this same exacting test. And should the press of America consider and recommend the voluntary assumption of specific new steps or machinery, I can assure you that we will cooperate wholeheartedly with those recommendations. Perhaps there will be no recommendations. Perhaps there is no answer to the dilemma faced by a free and open society in a cold and secret war. In times of peace, any discussion of this subject and any action that results are both painful and without precedent. But this is a time of peace and peril which knows no precedent in history. It is the unprecedented nature of this challenge that also gives rise to your second obligation, an obligation which I share, and that is our obligation to inform and alert the American people, to make certain that they possess all the facts that they need and understand them as well, the perils, the prospects, the purposes of our program, and the choices that we face. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. this administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain.
So the press, brothers and sisters, he was breaking it down. The press wasn't set up to report on sports and events. Okay? Those things used to be fillers. The press was set up so that the citizens of a country, the citizens would have a voice united with a free press for what? To stabilize the balances of power, where you cannot take away freedom of speech. See, but when they started adding sponsorships and tied that with free press, it no longer was free press. Because now through sponsorships, they could bribe what? The newspapers and the companies to push agendas. And guess what? JFK was talking about it. He was in these meetings, was like, hold up, who's these guys in the shirts dictating what free press is? Free press was made so that we can communicate and understand and talk about what was going on together in case a tyrannical government would arise. A free press is not you telling you what you should do. Okay? Because who's ever streaming the money through the pipeline is controlling what the press says. And guess what? This is why many people call JFK really the last president of the United States. Check out what he said then and look at what the press is pushing now. This is why they had to get him out of the way, because Satan has a short time to bring forth his agenda. So they have a schedule all the way to about 2033 that they need to have on schedule. And this guy would have held things up.
Not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security, and we intend to do it. It was early in the 17th century that Francis Bacon remarked on three recent inventions already transforming the world: the compass, gunpowder, and the printing press. Now the links between the nations, first forged by the compass, have made us all citizens of the world, the hopes and threats of one becoming the hopes and threats of us all. In that one world's effort to live together, the evolution of gunpowder to its ultimate limit has warned mankind of the terrible consequences of failure. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Man, oh man, oh man. Now, hold on.
From Houston's right.
Now, speeches are prepared. They are prepared, and now the presidents read from teleprompters, where the press, brothers and sisters, controls the flow of power over the people. Where the president is nothing more than something figuratively, as a symbol of democracy. One more, and then we're going to go in. Subsequent to that, after the war, what happens? Under George Bush, we go into more wars. George Bush Jr., more wars. Led by what? A press. A press telling people in the United States about a boogeyman enemy from one war to the next. And with each war, what happens? Freedoms are taken.
Still struggling to be free. This today, tomorrow, and into the next century. Our nation is the enduring dream of every immigrant who ever set foot on these shores, and the millions still struggling to be free. This nation, this idea called America, was and always will be
fair use.
A new world, our new world. At a workers' rally in a place called Branik on the outskirts of Prague, the idea called America is alive. A worker dressed in grimy overalls rises to speak at the factory gates.
Don't want to hear that.
And child care alternatives for parents.
Check out the New World Order. Check out their plan. Listen.
Confident their children are in safe and loving care, and where government works to expand child care alternatives for parents.
Child care alternative for parents. That's right. The state and government has now introduced the world to them being what? You got it. Parents over the children. State-controlled children. I know it sounded good the way he said it. Where the children would have certain education that would separate them and even have the children thinking that their parents are suspect. That their parents are from the old school. They don't know how things are done today. State-sponsored education was to do what? Further separate families. More. That's the New World Order.
Where we reconcile the needs of a clean environment and a strong economy, where made in the USA is recognized around the world as the symbol of quality and progress.
So he was seeding back then under the Bushes. Okay. The 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, they were seeding this. Right? Early 90s and all that, they were seeding this. For a clean earth, a clean economy and a clean earth. They were seeding climate change back then. So that now they can blame the population for how much we are consuming and make breathing and living a tax. Tax you for actually breathing on the earth. Tax you for using what you've spent your hard dollar on, and punish you if you overconsume. See, if you had free press where people would talk about, well, hold up. If people talk freely, they wouldn't have allowed their freedoms to be taken away from them. How are you going to tell me exactly how I'm going to spend what we work for, what I work for, and how much I could spend? Well, you can't spend too much. You can't have too much electricity. You can't have too much water because you're hurting the earth. It's a tax. Listen.
And where every one of us enjoys the same opportunities to live, to work, and to contribute to society.
Now, when he say the same opportunities, he's saying socialism. See, you think that socialism is just a liberal talking point. Well, no. These are either wings of the eagle. Democrat and Republican is keeping this thing flying. They're both pushing towards a socialist government where people don't have property or any level of finances to help those on the bottom. A sure way of doing that is to do what? Turn the people from on the bottom against the 99%. I mean, the 1%, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
You see that, lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You start telling people on a Democrat side, well, the 1% holds all the wealth. Well, guess what? That's divide and conquer, the New World Order, because it's the 1% that is creating finances for those that are under them. No 1%, and they're down there in the bottom with you, scrambling and scavenging for survival. So you have to hear what they say, because either side is really saying the same thing. They're pushing Marxism and socialism. Even Black Lives Matter. They're right out Marxist. They're not satisfied unless everything is tore down and everybody on the bottom is equal. Well, guess what? If everyone's on the bottom, who's going to pull you out?
Mm-hmm.
Right, lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're breaking down the New World Order. Let's go.
And where for the first time, the American mainstream includes all of our disabled citizens.
Now, why is disabled being moved in this New World Order speeches? When has that become a talking point that need applause? Well, if you're going to move into the what? The scientific pharmaceutical complex, more and more you're going to see people through war and outside of war getting injured or sick. So now they're severing, they're separating the coffers so that there's enough money for people who are disabled without going into and doing studies on how they became disabled. What gave them muscular sclerosis? What gave them asthma? All this money you putting in for cancer research, you haven't found out anything yet? Why is the whole earth sick? Why are people disabled? So they were seeding, that's right, back then with the New World Order, and they was making sure they sever some money from the treasure to push a sick, handicapped population that could not what? Oppose the New World Order. A sick population is only worried about his meds. It's only worried about surviving the next day. The last thing you're talking about is what they're talking about concerning you.
Where everyone has a roof over his head and where the homeless get the help they need to live in dignity. Where our schools challenge and support our kids and our teachers, and where all of them make the grade.
And at the same time, the inner city schools were putting our young men and daughters, our young men and our young women on what? Psychotropics. Allegedly.
Where every street, every city, every school, and every child is drug-free. And finally...
Yeah, drug-free. Unless you own a marijuana dispensary. See? When they say drug-free, they're not talking about the pharmaceuticals. Right? Because it was George Bush's wife saying just say no during the crack era. When it come to the crack era, just say no, Barbara Bush. Right? So what they're saying, what? Drug free? Well, this was during a time where crack was totally destroying our communities. New World Order working perfectly.
And finally, where no American is forgotten, our hearts go out to our hostages who are ceaselessly on our minds and in our efforts.
And you know what? When man, I should have listened to this before, because I never thought that with this speech, living in a free country called America, the freest country on earth, that something would happen in the earth where the population, the community of the citizens of the United States would become hostages, held in their homes for a ransom, held in your homes for a ransom. If you comply with the free press, then that will allow you to mingle amongst the free.
That's part of the future. We want to see the future we can make for ourselves, but dreams alone won't get us there. We need to extend our horizon, commit to the long view.
Oh, yeah.
And our mission for the future starts today.
Let me correct that, because George Bush was vice president during that time. It was Ronald Reagan's wife. Thank you for correcting me there. It was Ronald Reagan's wife during the 80s who was saying, just say no. And George Bush and his wife were what? Believe it or not, they were the ones allegedly really running things. Because George Bush's, they were linked in all the way back to the civil rights movement with the federal government and all that, trying to oppose us during civil rights. Thank you for correcting me there.
In the tough, competitive markets around the world, America faces the great challenges and great opportunities. And we know that we can succeed in the global economic arena of the 90s, but to meet that challenge, we must make some fundamental changes, some crucial investment in ourselves. Yes, we are going to invest in America. This administration is determined to encourage the creation of capital of all kinds, physical capital, everything from our farms and factories to our workshops and production lines, all that is needed to produce.
Farms and factory. Get them. Guess what? Do you know right now, a lot of farmers in the UK and the United States are actually having to give away their food, a lot of their food. And I got some reports. I have reports. A lot of the food are rotten and all that because there's no one to actually, under these restrictions, there's no one to actually get the food to the population.
Produce and deliver quality goods and quality services. Intellectual capital, the source of ideas that spark tomorrow's products. And of course, our human capital, the talented workforce that we'll need to compete in the global market. Let me tell you, if we ignore human capital, if we lose the spirit of American ingenuity, the spirit that is the hallmark of the American worker, that would be bad. The American worker is the most productive worker in the world.
Now, I'm going to show you how the Democrat and the Republic work hand in hand. During his administration, George Bush, they went to war in the Gulf, right? Remember that, the Gulf War? Right after that, all of the Americans were incinerated, Elder Lawyer. They were saying these guys are warmongers and this, that, and the other, right? But don't forget, he was talking about a global economy during his administration. Before who? Before Bill Clinton came on the scene, right? Right? You had Reagan, the Bush, then you had Clinton with 2 terms, right? He was talking about a free market, global market back then. But under Clinton's second administration, he passed the NAFTA Act. The NAFTA Act would take all the jobs out of the United States that was upholding our people and shift all the jobs overseas. A strategic way of doing what? Sucking the finances out of our communities. So you had one talking about a global economy, which was a Republican, but you had the Democrat, while we were looking at him and looking at him play the saxophone, selling all of the jobs that we were doing initially overseas to the East Indians, the Chinese, and the other people. See, all the people that have now gained preeminence over us since what? The JFK speech. What we're seeing right now with the East Indians and the Asians and all that was the Democrats and the Republican undermining our people, undermining not just us, all of American citizens.
Right. If I can mention real quick, you notice, and you mentioned it earlier, that these are really just two wings on the same bird.
Yes.
You notice back during the whole, I'm going to say, war on terrorism, it was the Republicans that were passing bills and, the Patriot Act to spy on citizens and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It was them pushing a lot of this legislation that people were like, this is going too far. And at that time, if you remember, it was the Democrats and the liberals who were coming forward on the news programs and saying that this is anti-constitutional. Now we fast forward to today, it's the conservatives or the Republicans, those same ones who were passing those bills against the Constitution, who are saying that the Democrats, with the campaign that's being pushed now, is anti-constitutional. But they're both working for the same goal. They flip-flop every so often, but it's all the same agenda.
Yeah. I just want people to see this, right? Let me just check it out at the end real quick.
We need to save more. We need to expand the pool of capital for new investments that mean more jobs and more growth. And that's the idea behind a new initiative I call the Family Savings Plan, which I will send to Congress tomorrow. We need to cut the tax on capital gains, encourage take those steps that translate into economic reward, jobs, and a better life for all of us. We'll do what it takes to invest in America's future. The budget commitment is there. The money is there. It's there for research and development, R&D, a record high. It's there for our housing initiative, HOPE, H-O-P-E, to help everyone from first-time home buyers to the homeless.
Now, later on in this diatribe, Elder Lawyer, he states that with the New World Order, he might not get there. He might not even live through it, but he's setting things in place, right? Of this illumination of 1,000 lights, as if this thing is accomplished, he almost act as if Satan is going to resurrect him again. If he do his part, if he do his religious part in bringing forth the New World Order. But let's now break down a few things, and I'll let you in, Elder Lawyer, to see how the New World Order has accomplished some of its missions. Here was the plan right here. Our brothers, the Levites, Haiti, fleeing from a war-torn, earthquake country. Uproar over image of U.S. mounted border agents rounding up Haitian immigrants. Rounding up Haitian immigrants. Hey, Yes, a new world order, your tax dollars at work. Who's reporting on this? The Times of Israel. The Times of Israel is reporting on the uncivilized treatment of a people who's fleeing a country for subsistence. Children. There you go. Now, how can the Times of Israel be speaking up against this when they are planning to extradite the Israelites who were born and are still living in Dimona, Africa, which is really Israel? Now, the reason why they want these guys out, and they named that Dimona, Africa, knowing it's in Israel, folks, is because they don't want the borders open to black people staking claim that we're the children of Israel. At the same time, the Jewish people, quote unquote, allegedly had a restoration. It's a conflict of interest because the press is saying one thing concerning a people, and we are saying, according to the Bible, something different. A free press would have allowed anyone who was Israelites to stake claim to Israel. See, but the press is driving the New World Order's chaos. What else we have here? I only got a few more. Before we go there, let me put this out there real quick because I hit that like button. Please hit that like button. I want to tell you all are doing a great job at A Gathering 144. I need y'all to help me out more. If you haven't subscribed to A Gathering 144, type it in your computer. YouTube, pull up another page and go to A Gathering 144. Subscribe. See that? Hit subscribe. And that's right. Some of you may have been unsubscribed. So go back there and make sure this thing is like this. Subscribe. Go to the bell and say you would like to receive all notifications for our main page. Right now, we're up to 97,000. We're pushing for 100,000, and that cannot be done without your help. Okay? Now, let's go. There's a little more. Navigating through the New World Order. The New World Order's chaos. UK CNC business. Gas prices in the UK could trigger food shortages within 2 weeks. Here we go. Now they're blaming this on what? Low employee turnout, where there's not enough people working to sustain the foods for the country. They're saying under a global pandemic, there's a work shortage. Well, there's a work shortage if you're telling people that they can't work without doing something medical. So you see how it is, this trick thing? Well, because there's no workers. Well, why aren't there workers who were working before? See? You gave some people stimuluses, made them believe that, okay, they're going to be fine forever. Got people comfortable not working. And then put a requirement on working right after. So, of course, there are going to be food shortages. And now food shortages going to mean what? Gas shortages and all that. Because why? They're going to claim not enough truckers are driving. Food shortages. This is not just UK news, folks. The United States, too. And for you in the Hebrew and Bible Academy, thank you. We had a week off due to the tabernacles. But wait till you see what we're going into this Sunday in the news. And for those who want to be in the Hebrew and Bible Academy, let me tell you, I'm encouraging you to enroll in this next academy. We're going into the Ark of the Covenant, all of that, where it was, all of that. The power of it will be a new lesson finding the Ark of the Covenant and its power will be a new lesson that we will add to the Hebrew Bible Academy, which starts in about 3 to 4 weeks. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. historytimes.org. Now, speaking on the New World Order, there's more, right? There's more. Work shortage will lead to UK food price rises, industry warns. So now they're being taxed for the same can of tomatoes, creating artificial scarcity, which what? You got it. Will eventually turn the population against one another when there's a lack of bread, like the scripture said. Automatically, you're going to follow what the press is saying, not realizing that this was engineered, allegedly. And what will happen is the people will turn on each other due to a lack of bread, like the scriptures say. All right. More. See, y'all have to realize how we deal with this. U.S. Department of Treasury are voting right now, Elder Lawyer. Voting right now. They're trying to stop it, but they're going to do it. You know how they do that left-right thing and try to claim they're arguing with an outcome already predetermined, right? The debt limit. They're talking about increasing the debt limit. Now, there's no one in North Philly that I know growing up was talking about the debt limit. What does that have to do with us? As long as I have some food, something to drink, you know, we went out dancing or whatever the case is. What's the debt limit? What does that mean for me? Well, the debt limit is the total amount of money that the United States government is authorized to borrow to meet its existing legal obligations, including Social Security, Medicare benefits. That's Medicaid too, folks. Like welfare, military, salaries, interest on the national debt, tax refunds, and other payments. Now, what does this have to do with us? Because we thought our tax dollars were paying for a lot of this, right? So somewhere someone voted in that they would actually borrow money to pay what we thought our tax dollars were covering. So at the same time, they were moving our jobs out of the way. They made it where the government subsidies and all the things that we got under civil rights would be through borrowed money. So if they extend or increase the tax limit, and they will, what happens? Inflation. Everything goes up. And then eventually they're going to have to cut some things to keep the military intact. Listen to what we're showing you here. They gave us the civil rights as a trick. We're navigating through the chaos, the New World Order, knowing they would one day, at one time, they would take all of the money our foreparents worked for, blood, sweat, and tears, and take all of the jobs offshore. That's right, to other countries, China, India. That was the plan. And then what we are used to living on would become what? Subjected to debt. So that anytime they can cut you off and say, well, it's not really our fault, we just had too much debt. At the whole time, they were telling us that it was our tax money going towards that. So what is our tax money going towards? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Remember the bailout of 2008? We had to bail out the banks and switch stuff around. So there's nothing for the poor. They're not telling you this yet. They're not telling you this. There's nothing left for the poor. If you have to borrow for these programs, that means there's no money there. And at any time, they can pull the rug right from under our communities and say there's no more welfare, no more Medicaid. And guess what? Especially if they tie that to whether or not you take a medical procedure. So in order for them to save the money in the coffers, they're going to say, well, only those who agree with the free press concerning this medical procedure can actually get benefits, can actually receive benefits. I'm going to tell you, folks, this is why they moved it from tax dollars in particular to a debt limit that was subjected to what? Loans. So a deficit is growing right up under all the programs that are sustaining poor people. So, check out what's going on with our brothers in Haiti and what's happening here. That's not a plan just for Haiti, folks. The Roundup. The Roundup. Understand what's going on, folks. They're doing this knowing that what? Eventually the people would wake up and understand that legislation was being pushed in society to actually depopulate the earth so that the earth can be for a chosen few outside of God's people, outside of us. And where do we go from here? Look at your screen. Get in that academy if you want to see more, though. Okay, I can't show this. I got to wait for the academy for that. Fair use. Fair use.
Purchases. And then you'll hit your carbon max. Well, don't say you weren't warned.
Fair use.
MasterCard and the United Nations are joining forces to monitor the carbon effect of your credit card purchases. And then you'll hit your carbon max and it'll stop working. Hey, of course it's voluntary for now. The new credit card is called Doconomy. And on the back of the card, it's going to say, I am taking responsibility for every transaction I make to help protect the planet. This is a social credit score, and it's a proof of concept. The Doconomy CO2 credit card website claims it is the largest initiative ever taken by a bank in educating its users on the impact of consumption. They say themselves they want to set a global standard for carbon calculations. That's the key. Once they have their numbers in place, then they can give every single purchase you make a score and punish you directly. This is what China does. And of course, this will only be enforced on you and me and any businesses that don't go along with their scheme. And banks are going to enforce it.
As a journalist in China, Liu Hu was no stranger to punishment. For reporting on corruption among government officials, Hu was arrested, accused of fabricating and spreading rumors, and fined. But then one day in 2017, he suddenly found that he was unable to buy a plane ticket. The system just rejected him. He also found he couldn't purchase certain train tickets. Then he discovered that he was unable to acquire a loan from any bank, and even forbidden from buying property at all. Eventually, Liu Hu discovered his name on a government list of dishonest persons subject to enforcement, and there was no obvious way to appeal the designation or have his name removed from the list. Hu was one of the early victims of the Chinese social credit system, which blacklists citizens who are found to be untrustworthy in the sole discretion of the Chinese government. Others on the list have been prevented from renting certain apartments and holding particular jobs. They've even had their bank accounts frozen. Sometimes all it took to become blacklisted was an accusation from a disgruntled business partner or a social media post critical of the government. It's almost like an official version of the Twitter mob's habit of canceling people for wrongthink. The Twitter mob may be easy enough to ignore for most of us, but now it's becoming mainstream to purge certain US residents for having bad social credit. For example, PayPal has announced an inquisition in partnership with the Anti-Defamation League to research funding for extremism on its payment platform. PayPal and ADL will focus on further uncovering and disrupting the financial pipelines that support extremist and hate movements. In addition to extremist and anti-government organizations, the initiative will focus on actors and networks spreading and profiting from all forms of hate and bigotry against any community. They are extremely vague about what they will consider extremist extremist content. But we have some idea.
Your social credit score is 5 stars.
Oh, thank you.
As the Delta variant surges, please do not frequent the massage parlor.
Oh, I went there once to see how misogynistic it was.
We're all in this together.
I agree with that.
Please update your automobile. Your carbon footprint is too high.
Oh, I don't have money for that right now.
You'll be fined $500 Trudeauian. Your social credit score is 4.8 stars.
What?
Diversity's our strength.
I agree with that too.
Your social media is skewing more conservative. You liked a Joe Rogan podcast. He's an enemy of the state. Your social credit score is 4.6 stars. If you reach 4.5 stars, you will no longer be able to travel.
But I'm going to Mexico next week.
Incoming alert! Incoming alert! The Mexico variant is making it impossible to travel. Your flights have been canceled.
What? But I got my booster. This guy's crazy.
I am not a guy. You've misgendered me.
Oh, no.
You've been fined $1,000 Trudeauian.
Oh, no.
Justin's Gestapo is on his way. We're all in this together. We're all in this together.
The New York Times, for example, considers the word freedom to be an anti-government slogan, according to a recent article on the protests in Cuba. Twitter considered it hate speech and banned a Spanish politician for tweeting, "A man cannot get pregnant. If you protest lockdowns, you are an extremist, putting lives in danger." And these days, anything from the okay hand gesture to cheese is considered racist. PayPal is not going to keep this research to itself. It intends to be the tip of the social justice warrior's spear. The intelligence gathered through this research initiative will be shared broadly across the financial industry and with policymakers and law enforcement. So the big banks will be able to use this same intelligence to blacklist extremists peddling hate speech. Recently, Wells Fargo closed the accounts of 2 different conservative activists without explanation. In 2019, JP Morgan Chase did the same thing. And the CEO of the alternative social media website Gab had 4 banks in 4 weeks ban the company's accounts, allegedly because the platform harbors extremist content. All of this looks eerily like a backdoor to a Chinese-style social credit system in the United States. Governors across the world set up reporting systems to rat out your neighbors for having family over for the holidays. Bad citizen. Vermont's governor even asked students to snitch on their own parents who might have invited extended family over for Thanksgiving 2020. And now the US government is leading the charge, with the help of big tech companies of course, by providing new, easy ways to report your radical friends and family to the government. What exactly constitutes radical? Anything they don't want you to do or believe. This is the problem when just a handful of powerful, centralized institutions control society.
This bill was introduced this morning. It's just gone through the House this evening. Members of the crossbench were not given any briefing on this bill. We did not get an explanatory memorandum. I note that the Minister has just tabled one. I just want to put on Hansard that we've had no opportunity to consider this. Clearly the opposition has. This is an urgent bill, according to the speeches that I've just heard late into the evening just now, and I want to make it very clear that as a member of this Parliament, I've had no opportunity to consider it at all.
During the unveiling of the social credit system, the State Council stated that the plan would, quote, allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step, unquote. The system uses points similar to our financial credit score system, but for everyday activities. People can lose points by behaving in a way the government deems unappealing, like littering, paying bills late, drinking too much alcohol, or posting what the government deems to be misinformation online. A person can gain points by helping old ladies walk across the street, exercising daily, and following all government directives. China says the system is meant to promote honesty in government affairs, commercial integrity, social integrity, and judicial credibility. The government monitors citizens to determine their scores through mass data collection, surveillance from their network of hundreds of millions of cameras, citizen observers. These are neighbors hired by the government to report good and bad behavior. Agency records and social media activity are some of the ways the government knows whether or not one is a model citizen. Now, everyone in China starts off with a set amount of points and can lose or gain them based on what's deemed good or bad behavior. A high score gives a person extra privileges like free water, free healthcare checks, lower bank loan rates, and access to community bikes. A low score can limit a person's ability to travel on trains or planes, limit their children from enrolling in certain schools, and can even cost them their jobs. People with low social credit scores are even publicly shamed with their images splashed on screens as warnings to others. Scores can be checked through an app or kiosks set up around the cities. How far away are we, the citizens of the United States, from China on this? So let's start with the very first thing the Chinese government claimed would be the result of this social credit system, that the trustworthy can roam everywhere while the discredited can't take a single step. Now, like in China, we are witnessing an increasing amount of squelching dissent. Social media companies have taken up the majority of the work maintaining the official narratives by censoring anything deemed misinformation. And what exactly is misinformation? As we've seen on so many instances of accurate and truthful information being censored, it has become clearer and clearer that what is considered misinformation is just anything that isn't the official policy of the government. Essentially, it is no longer okay to have an opinion, even an expert opinion if you happen to be one, if it goes against the stance of badge-carrying officials. And if you happen to say something that is not in line with authorities, like in China, you could suffer social ramifications. Your posts will be either removed or have a warning slapped across them, or you yourself will be deplatformed, unable to communicate with your friends and family. In the most recent and extreme cases, medical doctors have had their LinkedIn profiles removed in an attempt to discredit them. And maybe you think, oh, boo-hoo, you can't post on Facebook. We've seen other more serious ramifications for losing social credibility in our society. People have had real-world consequences, such as losing their jobs and being alienated within their communities over tweets posted a decade ago. We've seen doctors losing their medical license for giving countering medical information. Head-scratching that a doctor who's trying to treat patients would be demonized, while one who refuses to treat patients gets applauded. Even the financial credit system here in America is highly debilitating and lacks transparency. In order to even get basics like utilities, an apartment, or a cell phone, people must have a decent credit score. We are all fairly used to it, but should we be? We have no idea what causes the scores to go up or down. Oftentimes, nonsensical things, such as paying off a loan, will make the number drop. People have even suspected that having a non-European name could lead to lower scores. These scores are essential to living in our credit-reliant world. A person with a lower score for arbitrary reasons could be left with paying higher interest rates and higher deposits while receiving lower quality goods and services. And though we don't have an official system the way China does, are we really far off? We are inching closer and closer to this dystopian future of carrying with us QR codes that let doorkeepers know if we are worthy of access. We have community narcs and AI patrolling Twitter and Facebook in search of misleading posts to flag. We have financial scores assigned to us to determine whether or not we can have basic services like the internet or a car. And with financial institutions such as PayPal announcing they will be limiting transactions for people and groups deemed extremists without defining what an extremist is exactly, we could find ourselves unable to make purchases because the powers that be deem us to be bad citizens. Now, the biggest difference between our situation and China's official system is that theirs is state-run by their centralized autocratic government. Their authorities are allowed to collect data on their citizens and use it however they please. Now, our Constitution, however, largely protects us from government intrusion of this type in our lives, and so our politicians rely on private entities to do the dirty work for them instead. Our government has recruited big tech, big pharma, big banks, big corporations, and private businesses to meddle in our daily activities in order to keep us safe. We now have censorship on our social media platforms that prevents us from posting or seeing information in order to keep us safe. Credit scores that prevent the untrustworthy from taking loans or opening accounts in order to keep us safe. Invasive screenings at airports in order to keep us safe. Unwarranted searches and seizures in order to keep us safe. Big tech surveilling our internet activities in order to keep us safe. And the list continues to grow. So is this the future? Are we headed for an era where our every movement is captured, cataloged, assessed, and used for or against us? Is it inevitable in a world of increasing technology? Or at some point do we say we've had enough? And this is too similar to living in an episode of Black Mirror.
Man. Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Lawyer, I'm going to tell you, man, it's kind of eerie. A lot of what we were talking about since 2009 on the street corner of Market Street, right there at 9th and Market in front of the gallery.
Yeah, it's slowly but surely coming to pass right before our eyes.
I mean,
and
go ahead, lawyer.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, Satan, as he promised, he will be like the Most High, And Christ says, by your words shall you be justified, and by your word shall you be condemned. So it's like Satan is setting up this system where by what you say, what you think, and how you feel will result in a social condemnation. And we've already kind of seen that. And I saw that they alluded to that in the video, that with this this new social justice and this whole Me Too era where you can lose your job or be judged by public opinion based on your personal views. You're racist, you're sexist, you're misogynist. You should lose your livelihood because of that. And many people, because they agree with it and go along with it, don't realize that they're buying into an idea that you can lose your livelihood just based on your personal views, which is, it's leading to the mark of the beast system. So
let's run down the line, and I want to talk about whether or not desegregation actually happened in a moment. Maybe we need to have a whole different topic on that altogether, but let's go back to 2009 on the corners of 9th and Market. I was teaching out there, and I said, the first thing I said to you, and you mentioned that in the 12-year journey, was, did you know about the FEMA camps, the internment camps? And you said no.
Right.
Now they have scenarios out there. If some people are tested and come up positive, that it's actually, you're getting a knock on the door now. And there's alternative living, I'm going to put it that way, alternative living already created, almost like an army base in certain areas throughout the United States that most people don't know about. I also said, listen, right now you think it's all good. You're out here shopping, this, that, and the other. Yeah, shop and be merry right now. But it's going to come a time you're going to go into these stores, and some of these stores are going to be like ghost towns up in here. And I said it, quote unquote, that look at all your aisles in the supermarket. Eventually, every aisle will be, that's right, you will be paying on aisles without what? Cashiers. I said it just like that. And at that time, it was cashiers on everything. Every line was a cashier, which were jobs, and there was only one place to check out if you wanted to deal with personally. There was no long lines. And I said eventually, they're going to move all employees out of the way, have the company stock their own product, and it will be the military or security whose police, that's right, guarding the product in a supermarket or business. Quote, unquote. I say this on the corner. 2009, people looking at me, they're laughing, cracking up, saying I was conspiracy theorist. I was crazy. I said, no. Walmart is showing us what they're going to do, because back then, you would have a police outside of Walmart. So that they're really highlighting. What are they prepping you for where you have a police in front of a convenience store almost 24 hours a day? I'm like, that's the plan. They're getting us conditioned to believe it's okay for law enforcement to be staked out at a supermarket. Walmart, right? I said Walmart. You turn that around, martial law. And who's providing all the products for us here at Walmart? China. Sucking all the life source and the finances out of our economy, embolden China financially to be what they are today. This was a plan. This was a well out sought, calculated plan. And I talked about that in 2009, Elder Lawyer. Quote unquote. I'm like, listen, you're going to go into these places. There ain't going to be no people in there. The police and cameras. That's why they put cameras. They went about 3 to 5 years making sure there was cameras everywhere. I'm like, no, they're going to have somebody just sitting back. Guess what? Even the police aren't going to have to go out on beats anymore. They're going to be sitting back and looking at the whole community through drones. That's where we are now. That's where we are now. Now, you may think that, Elder Lawyer, We thought that that desegregation happened. No, it didn't. There was never a time of desegregation. Me being able to use the same toilet of other people, we've always been able to use other people's toilet. Okay, me sitting on a bus, let me tell you, I purposely, before, and guess what? I was living well beyond the civil rights movement after all that happened. When we went to school, automatically you have more fun on the back of the bus. I didn't want to get on the front of the bus anyway. So that's not nothing. Rosa Parks didn't want to sit at the back of the bus. Listen, all the fun is at the back of the bus. That's not an accomplishment. So there was never a time of desegregation because they would change the game. You get the right to vote, and then we put in an electoral college, which determines the vote. That filibustered our accomplishment. Okay, and now we're able to have free enterprise, cash and carry. Now that we have our own juke joints, our own community, our own bars, our own this. Well, don't worry about that because you have your own money. We're going to now more so lean on a credit system. A credit system, what's that? My father told me, listen, if you don't have the money for it in your house, you can't afford it. That's what my father told me. He said, boy, don't ever buy a new car. He said, you lose $1,000, $2,000 to $10,000 every time you drive off a lot with a new car. He said, don't ever buy. He says, listen, that's a con game. He says, like my father said, if you can't pay for it, you can't afford it. We didn't learn the credit game until our credit score was 0. We didn't know there was a credit score in the hood. Because everything we did was cash and carry. If you got the money for it, you can afford it, right? No. That's segregation. They taught their children about credit and taught us nothing. They taught us how to shoot a basketball. And by the time we caught up, their children were already what? Taking our applications as our overseers. See? Then when we finally learned the credit game a little bit and started, even in the score a little bit, I'm like, well, okay. We started learning the credit game because credit game, okay. They almost giving things away to people who understand the credit game. Because a lot of people were just, I'm like, yo, I wish I had a leg up like this where I can borrow all this stuff and make generational wealth for my family and then file a chapter and say I don't owe you anything. No one told us that until they were already what? Leaps and bounds above us. Right, lawyer?
Yes, sir.
And then once we figured that out and got our credit game together, here's COVID. We just started to figure things out. And it was like, well, no, because your people are disproportionately affected by this. You're not like the other people. It's your people that's segregated medically, that's different from everyone else. So every time we make leadway, they come up with something else. And now, well, you can't go into a supermarket. You can't go. In France, they're sitting out. They're sitting out. They're protesting because why? They cannot go into a diner. They cannot go to the coffee or tea shops. Does that sound eerily familiar? That sounds like what we were writing about, right? So here we go. It was never desegregation because every time we got leadway, the New World Order would push us back with a new legislation. They would give us one thing on one side, but then take it back on the other side, right from under us. And that's why our people have never progressed. The New World Order was never meant for what? A free world. Folks, how can you hope for something that was prophesied to come with Christ? Freedom, real freedom and liberty and rest doesn't come until our Lord and Savior returns. We're praying through the New World Order's chaos. So I wanted to put that out there. So what do? Well, if we learned anything last night, Elder Lawyer, prayer works.
That's right.
Prayer works. We must, because it worked back then, the civil rights movement. Prayer got us through slavery. It got us through all these eras. And one thing that stayed constant, even though, hey, people can change all day long, but the Most High changes not. He stayed constant. Whether we fall, no matter what we do, at the end of the day, he brushed us off and he's still here. So I'm going to say this, prayer is needed. And if anything, brothers and sisters, on top of prayer, it's time to start pivoting, knowing the New World Order's planned for you. No more can we depend on a system that have been restructured to block us out. We have to more so depend on one thing we never wanted to do. We're going to actually have to get along with each other to survive. See, that's what the workplace took away. The workplace gave us individual accomplishments while our families went to crap. We're going to actually have to go backward and say, you know what? The backward way worked. Let me get with my cousin. Let me get my brother. Let me get what happens if something go down and we need food together? Well, let's set up a business now where we can work together, split up the money, whatever the case is, and have alternative beds and all types of things working where now we don't have to depend on a system. Right? Take a page from the old lemonade stand. Lemonade still tastes good. Lemonade, orangeade, whatever the case is. When I grew up, I'm seeing these Chinese people, guess what? Pulling their bootstraps up. And guess what? And everyone was laughing at them in the community. It didn't take them a lot of money to do what they were doing. They would set up this rinky-dink little square box and have cut fruit in a plastic container on ice, selling cold fruit all day. And people, next thing you know, they're pulling out more and pulling out more. And that cold fruit chopped up only probably cost about 60 cents per one. And they were selling that for like $4, $5. And we were driving by looking at them in our borrowed cars, paid for by a loan, laughing at them. Yeah, I'll take some of that fruit. Guess what? Here it is. They didn't wear Jordans. They didn't look nothing like they look now. They weren't into fashion, but guess what? They were clocking. And who was it? It was a family. Father, mother, and children. Whichever, if they get a corner store, it was the same thing. It was a family on the end of the block doing what? Expanding from our community. Well, we're gonna have to take a page from the past, brothers and sisters. And people, I'm gonna tell you, I told people before, especially in a time, and I'm putting this out there, this is free advice tonight, Elder Lawyer. Free advice. Everyone right now, especially in a time in which you have Uber Eats where people aren't even going to restaurants like they used to anyway. Everyone listening to this broadcast right now already have a restaurant. A restaurant is nothing more than a stove, a refrigerator, a grill. You already have a restaurant. It's going to be time where people have to put up their LLCs and get their LLCs together and say, yo, hey, I don't need that. I can have inspections come through to make sure my kitchen is right. And I could take my home cooking and put it on Uber Eats, put it on this and put it on that, and just have my children. I don't need Uber. I can have my children going out every time we get an order, have my children going out in their cars, collecting that, just like that. Everybody that's listening right now and have a restaurant. I worked in restaurants since the age of 17? First job at Houlihan's. That used to be right there, right off of 18th and Market Streets. Everyone has a restaurant. It's going to be time we have to kick back to the way it used to be, folks. Get with your family and say, listen, the tide have changed. all this stuff dependent on jobs and hoping that they don't change the legislation concerning medical stuff and all that. Can't you say, man, that's tired. That's tiresome going to work, dealing with the stress of work already. And now only to receive added pressure. It's time. It's time for families to get together and say, yo, how much you got? How much you got? Yo, let's go get an acre. Let's go pay for an acre so that when it comes to time, we're not going to be able to get it. So at least we got there. We can pay the taxes. We got an acre. If something go down, we can build on it. Put some tiny houses on it. Let's do something we can afford. That's what time it is, folks. Well, listen, I done said enough, Elder Lawyer. I'm ready to open up the calls. I'm only going to go on for another. I'm going to end it at 8 o'clock tonight, Elder Lawyer. I'm already past the time.
Yes, sir.
Anything you would like to say before we open up the calls?
Yes, sir. Just going over, again, the title of tonight's discussion. All right. Let me pull it up here.
Praying through the New World Order's chaos.
Praying through the New World Order's chaos. And one thing I wanted to highlight is the fact that, number one, usually when I think you alluded to this a little bit earlier, when we speak about the NWO or the New World Order, people only associate it with this concept of secrecy within high places, as we saw JFK eloquently speak about. We also saw George Bush Sr. speak about a New World Order. We've seen other world leaders speak about a so-called New World Order. People may think that this is a concept that just started relatively recently. Yeah. Well, when we go into the Bible, we get an understanding, we get insight exactly to what the New World Order truly is. First and foremost, when you go to the book of 2 Peter 2, chapter 2, verse 4 through 5, I'm going to read this real quick. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 through 5. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world. Why do we go here? Well, if you're speaking about a New World Order, there must be a destruction of what is considered the old world. Same way in the Bible, you had the old world before the flood. Well, in order for Noah to make it over to the new world, so to speak, there first had to be a destruction or a collapse of the old world. Yeah. And what we're witnessing at this time, what we've witnessed for a long time, is a destruction or a collapse of the current world order, which will at one point, in the future, will be considered the old world order once the new world order is fully established. When you go to the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, you get insight as to the understanding of nations unifying and what happens when the nations unify. When you look at the United Nations, when you look at the Committee of 300, when you look at all of these various organizations who come together to discuss the world order, to discuss the future of society, the future of humanity, those nations don't come together just for the sake of, throwing a picnic or a cookout or what have you. They are working, building together, building a tower, if you will, which is to spite and eventually fight against the Most High God, as was done in Genesis 11, when they came together to build a tower into the heavens. Isaiah 14 states that, and we don't have to necessarily go to it, but we mention this all the time. Satan promised to be just like the Most High.
Yes.
Okay. And he is the power. He is the entity who is behind the cabal. Ephesians 6:12 speaks about the true spirits, the principalities and the powers, and the workers of iniquity in high places who are truly behind the cabal. It's bigger than George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., it's bigger than Tony Blair. It's bigger than 9/11. These are all world events that are being used, that have been calculated to bring forth something in the earth, but there's spiritual forces who are behind this world order. The nations, as you mentioned, or as we mention often in the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, these nations are simply puppet nations that are used to bring forth this world order.
Yeah.
Okay? The spiritual powers that are behind it. And part of this world order is to what? To wipe out the name of Israel from existence. Christ said in the book of Matthew 24:22 that if he didn't stop the time or cut the time short, all flesh would be saved. No flesh would be saved. Exactly. No flesh will be saved. So some people may ask, well, will they succeed with the New World Order? Well, for Christ's sake and for the mercy and grace of the Most High in Christ, the answer is no. But if it wasn't for Christ, they would succeed. We know in Revelations, the 20th chapter, last scripture, Revelations 20, verse 1, we know that the God over the New World Order, who is Lucifer, the so-called illuminated one, he will be bound. He will be destroyed. He will be conquered. So no, they will not succeed. But however, before that takes place, before he's bound, we know that a lot of pain and suffering will take place on this earth. So as you mentioned, it's time to start praying in the time that we're going into and fasting in the time that we're going into, understanding that we have no power but the power of the Most High in Christ.
Exactly. And hey, of course, there's geography, but there's no going anywhere and doing anything if our spirits aren't right first. So it's time to get linked in, be baptized for the remission of sins, be linked in with the heavens first. And it's Christ through the Holy Spirit that guides us together. Okay. When the Most High had us set up churches throughout the four corners of the earth, that's right. The Most High had a plan too, Elder Lawyer, through the chaos.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Developing a network that would sustain his people through this chaos. Okay. So that's what it's all about. We have to continue to pray for each other. And as the time grow near, and I was talking about this earlier, especially with us going into the new Jubilee year under the Feast of Tabernacle, right? You got the Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacle, new month. And the whole thing is, Elder Lawyer, there's just too many things going on right now that can have us respond carnally or negatively, and that's on purpose.
Right.
The Most High says a carnal mind in the scriptures, it says in Paul's writings, a carnal mind is enmity with God, which means we can't be responding through the flesh, easily provoked. That's saying something isn't right. We're not thinking before acting. So even through this, when certain things, gets under our craw, right, where we feel like everywhere we look, there's an issue, understand this is what the Bible deems as fiery darts. They're weakening us. Like, I don't have to respond to everything that's negative. I have control over that. Because every time I deal with something negative, it takes twice as much of that time, if not more, to recover.
Right.
Okay. Because it's exhausting. Okay. When you exhaust yourself in one area, recovery time is needed. So you have to pick your battles like, well, nah, or you'll be fighting everything. You'll be fighting the air, the pressures of your job, what's going on over here. And guess what? This is Satan's plan so that our eye gets off the prize. That's the plan. To hit you in everywhere so that you're not used as a soldier to actually fight against it spiritually. It's a spiritual war. So they're burying us. They're burying us with things of contention. I'm telling you right now. And it's only going to get worse. Today they talking about this. Tomorrow's going to be something else. But the story going to come out, Elder Lawyer. They'll say, well, we're thinking about doing this. When they say that, know that that's about to happen.
Right.
They're grooming you. It's called predictive programming. They're programming you to adjust to a change. When they say, well, we might be doing this, because I remember they say, well, I don't know if they're going to be able to push this on a job as far as someone employment. Is that legal? And they was posing it as a question.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it really wasn't, Elder Lawyer, a question. Could they actually do that? They was posing it as a question. But it's really predictive programming. It doesn't matter if they say it in the free press. Through the programming, they are adjusting you to begin to what? Accept how you can live under that. Because when they say they're going to do something, automatically you realize we begin to start planning on how that change, that new pressure is going to affect us personally. See? Yep. So we already in our minds, well, if they do this, I'm going to do that. Thank you. You're thinking about something you shouldn't have to think about. That's the point. And they're going to keep piling it on and piling it on and piling it on to a point where we have to understand, when is enough? How much pressure can I withstand? So it's going to come a time and be like, well, no, if I take on these pressures, eventually I'll break. And that's what's going on, folks. I'm looking at Elder Lawyer. Every week, I'm seeing a new person who's young, who's our age, your age, just coming up dying, heart attacks, this, that, and the other. And the news just saying these people are dying. And all I want to know right off the rip is whether or not, and I don't know, but whether or not we should ask, were any of these people did they go and comply with the stuff? Maybe they did. But why aren't they saying, well, this person, when he died, but at least he followed what made to make him safe. He did what he did to make himself safe. Why aren't they saying whether or not that person that died has taken the stuff? All this pressure on those who are living, we should surely ask, well, what about them that have died? Did they take it? We should know that. But why isn't it we're not finding out whether or not these people complied or believed? Because it's the pressure. It's the pressure, folks. Mm-hmm. And here it is. They're just putting bodies down like this and no one is understanding it's because it's the pressure. People are breaking. So you have to realize when it's too much for you. And say, well, hold up, this is too much. I have to now depend on the Most High and the Spirit and the gifts he gave me between these ears to operate in this earth without those pressures. It was a time where that was possible. All right? Elder Lawyer, I'm about to take some calls. Anything else you want to say? Because I'm really past my time. To tell you the truth, again, I thank the Most High. That brother Leonard from the New York body is well, doing good. Praise the Most High. I thank the Most High for that. That Leonard is doing absolutely. Leonard. And we praying for Sister Shirley. She's feeling better now that she know her husband is better. And we're also praying for. We thank the Most High for the prayers. My brother Tony, he's out of the hospital. He's out of the hospital, and he went to see my mom, and it's okay. They took his blood. Thank you for your prayers out there for my brother, for Leonard. And I'll tell you, they took his blood. They said, listen, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. They put an IV in him, and he came back clean. And when he went to the hospital, he tried to act like he's hard and saying he wasn't really worried about it at first. But I can tell when my brother's nervous. So, I just thank the Most High that the prayers worked. And it's one thing telling you all or talking to you and encouraging you all, okay, when it comes to this. But hey, there's not one person on the earth, Elder Lawyer, that this thing isn't affecting. One way or the other, psychological, physical, whichever way, we're all experiencing these decisions because one thing we were used to in the hood is what? In an emergency, going to a hospital.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When all fails, the hospital. We didn't think that it would be a thing where we're weighing what's going on there, right? So, I mean, I thank you all for your prayers, and we're praying through the chaos. And the Bible tell you, it's when Baruch asks about these troubles, will it happen in this one place, or will all the earth experience? Will everyone in the earth experience this? And hey, this is a living testimony that the whole earth is experiencing this at once. We are experiencing this. So, hey, I want to say this also real quick. We'd like to thank you all for all your donations of helping these broadcasts. $ GOCC 144 donate. All right. $ GOCC 144 donate. Please help, because this is what fuels these broadcasts, and it is allow us to help others. So please. Okay. All right. One thing here. All right. Hebrew and Bible Academy coming up. We're going to go into the Ark of the Covenant and its power, which is a new lesson, and we're working on new lessons. Make sure you enroll historytimes.org. And let's get the calls ready. All right. So, Elder Lawyer, I'm going to call you right back, and you can answer the calls with me, okay? 515-605-9327. How are you navigating through the New World Order's chaos? And please answer the questions and stay within the parameters of the discussion. Don't ask about where's baptisms, this, that, and the other. GOCCbaptisms@gmail.com is where you deal with baptisms, okay? Now, let's do it. Let's do it here. All right, Elder Lawyer, I'll call you right back.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Blog Talk, and I'm sure Elder Ramar is holding down the hatchet there. Hold on.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
Okay. Okay, let me do it this way. Please. 1 second. 515. I'm going to call in like you all. Okay. 605-9327. All right.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Okay, I'm live and direct.
Unmuted.
Okay, we're good to go. All right, let's open it up. Don't forget $ GOCC 144 donate. Donate to for the broadcast. If this information has helped you, continue to help you, the least we could do is make sure you brothers and sisters support the work. Okay, we're out there on the front line for you all. So please continue to support the work. Okay. All right, let's go down the calls. Let's see. Hold on. Let me log in. I'm going to log in 1 second. Blog Talk Radio. All right. And please, brothers and sisters, stay on topic, please. And I'd like to say hi to my whole family out there, the East Coast, Feast of Tabernacles. I'll see you soon. Yep. It was a blessed lesson we did this weekend. All praises be to the Most High. And man, I'm just feeling good that my brother is feeling better. And I mean, it's another day. And folks, tomorrow will have enough evil in itself. Let's just thank the Most High for what he's done for us today, and just be gracious. And let's be gracious going forward, more patient going forward. 515-605-9327. We're going to start off with Bonnie, 507 area code, who has a comment and or a question. Okay, Bonnie.
Shalom, Elder. Can you hear me?
Shalom. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Elder. I just got a text message from my best friend's daughter. My best friend just passed away at 5:59.
I'm sorry to hear that. We'll make sure we. I'm sorry, sister. We're gonna put out a prayer for her family. How old was she, and what happened?
Audrina. Her name is Audrina. She is 52 years old. On September 4th, I was talking to her early the 3rd. I was talking to her early that morning. She said she wasn't feeling well and that she was having a hard time breathing. And I said, well, she has MS for one. And then I asked her, well, what's going on? Is it your MS bothering you? She said, no. She said, I don't know. I just feel disoriented. I don't feel good. I said, well, lay down, get you some rest, get you some orange juice, take you some vitamins, some zinc and stuff, and I'll call you in a little while because I was getting ready to go to my son's house for a baby shower. I called her back Friday. I didn't get a response. And I called and called and called. I called on Saturday all day.
Let me ask you this, because sometimes when we talk about this on the live broadcast, sometimes we get censored and all that. So I got to be careful. I have to deal with you offline with that, really, because of the censorship that's going on here. But what is the cause of death? Did they say?
Well, she had MS. This is what I was getting into, and I know what words to stay away from.
But what was the cause?
She's been on a ventilator.
Listen, what did the coroner say, or what did the hospital say?
They don't have any of that information right now. It just happened. Okay. She literally just passed 20 minutes ago.
Okay, well, sister, right
she's
now,
been on a ventilator since. That's what I'm going to tell you what they're going to possibly say.
No, let's go here.
They're saying that she had no.
Sister, let me guide it, because I have to be careful on this, okay?
Okay.
Let me guide it and understand right now you're going through all of these emotions and explaining everything that's going through your head. It's not going through your head right now. And really,
yes, it is.
I want to get you off so you can contact the family and deal with them on that and contact us later. That's what I want to do. But what I'm asking you in particular, right now, there is no diagnosis. She was on a ventilator for what? I mean, there is no reason for death.
91 Dovec. They're saying it was Dovec.
Okay, so they said, so they said that she was diagnosed with, I'm going to say,
yes.
I'm going to call this with the medical condition that everyone is talking about. So she was diagnosed with the medical condition on a ventilator.
Yes, sir.
And
yes.
Okay. Well, do me a favor, sister. I'm going to make sure we put out a
weeks.
For 2 weeks. Okay. Well.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is what I'm going to do, sister. We're going to keep it there. I need you to contact the family, talk with them, and we're going to make sure we put a prayer out for the family. All right. I have your number. I'll talk to you separately about this. Okay.
Okay.
And
this is what I want you to know. When you go in there and they try to give you the cure and they put you on that longer.
Sister, listen, we can't do that. We can't do that. I know what you're trying to do.
Okay.
But you have to realize it, and I'm trying to be sensitive with you, understanding what you're going through. But people are looking at the application and saying, well, understand these are learning experiences, what we can learn going forward. But we need to find out, we need to find out backward, right? We need to figure out what's going on backward. So that's what I like you to do. Get with the family, figure out what's going on. I'll call you separate from here, okay? And then we can help people going forward, okay? Because there's a lot of emotions going on, and you do have our deepest condolences for your best friend. And I got your number down here, Bonnie, and we will be reaching out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And it's a shame, man, because ever since Google and all that and got involved in this stuff, as far as online, hey, there's no freedom of press. Not really. I don't see any freedom of speech. We can't talk candidly. I mean, we went through last year not even being able to console our own loved ones and bury our own loved ones. I mean, how unsensitive. I mean, what a wicked scenario we're under right now. And now we can't even speak freely to talk about what's going on in some of these institutions to avoid it not happening in the future. And see, this is, and I'm going to tell you, the Most High is forcing families to have hard conversations. Hard conversations like, well, if I do go in, what's the plan? Okay. How do we engage in this scenario? Okay. And make sure our loved ones get out. How do we overlook and oversee what's going on there to make sure things are copacetic? Because as we've mentioned earlier, two people, my brother Tony, he was in the hospital last night. He wasn't breathing right. We said a prayer. I kept him he texted me on the phone, and I made sure everything he was going through, every step was actually what? Sent to me so that we can actually navigate in case something went wrong or something that I didn't have no understanding of happened. That's a family plan. Now, of course, I couldn't be there because when you're diagnosed or if you think you have that, you're separated from everyone else. So you don't talk about that afterwards. Okay, but guess what? They checked his blood. My brother Tony's fine, and I thank you all for your prayer. But I don't believe it was just that. It was also the connection and the reassurance and support that sometimes these institutions are cutting us off from sometimes. I know they try their best to make sure that family family are involved. I'm not saying the institutions are solely cutting people off. But a lot of people in the hospital, their hands are tied under a lot of this on what they can and cannot do. Okay, so really the plan have to start at home. Suppose someone is sick or feel that they're under one of these symptoms. What is the family plan for this? Okay, so let's go down the line. 509 area code.
Hello.
You're live.
What I wanted to say, this New World Order thing they're rolling out, you can actually see different stages of what they want to accomplish all together in different countries.
Okay.
Over in France, you can't go shopping unless you have the juice pass. Over in Australia, they're completely locked down. They're if you go to Australia, you have to quarantine in a camp. Have you heard about that?
Allegedly, but I'm listening.
Yeah, sorry, I get nervous when I'm talking to you guys. I don't normally get nervous.
Listen, brother, listen. I listen to you. You're a great caller, very articulate. There's no reason to get nervous. We're not. Go ahead and flow.
Okay. Yeah, so they're rolling it out in different stages in different countries. Here we have a certain type of lockdown in certain areas. But yeah, no, Australia, I've even seen, there's you can find videos online of people in camps when they go there. People who are vaccinated, people who are juiced have one camp, people who are unjuiced have another camp. And there was one guy, he's on a video and he's talking about it. And he's talking about it and he's got a video and you see he's in this shack thing in this camp and there's guards going around giving everybody, they call him for food and everything and they're treating people like crap. And the camp looks exactly like those Japanese internment camps they had here in America in World War II. It looks just like it.
Okay. Now where is this at? And of course I have to put allegedly because I haven't looked this up yet. It's not me saying this. This is a open line where people are coming with their freedom.
Well, I can tell you.
I can't say freedom. I don't think I can say freedom. but they're coming.
Could I tell you the site?
Yeah, I don't think you can tell me the site either. But you ran upon some news.
Oh,
Is it mainstream news? Is it mainstream?
Well, if you know, I don't know where they find the stories, but if you know Alex Jones' site, you can find it.
See,
just look it up. Look him up.
I'm saying, but
yeah.
Alex Jones was banned, so I don't know if we can say. I don't know if we can say his name, but all in all, I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We want to keep this channel because this channel is about us bringing forth this Bible and giving people to understand how to spiritually navigate regardless of what the enemy is doing. Okay? So I can say it's alleged. I don't know. I haven't seen it. All I know is Alex Jones is banned from YouTube. And we would like to be here as a support system scripturally for our people. As long as possible. And that's why.
Well, I think if you just looked it up, Googled it, you could find Australia, Dovik camps, you know.
Well, I'm definitely going to check it out, allegedly.
So
real quick,
one last
anything
thing
else?
to say about Australia.
Go ahead.
Just one small thing about Australia. They're talking about, allegedly, about having everybody in Australia, they're going to pass a law where they have to have an app on their phone tied to their government with their Dovik status, if they've been juiced or not. And the app will tell everyone if they're allowed, allegedly, if they're allowed to leave their homes or not, and all those types of things. And
that sounds
and
pretty
the censorship.
See, but
like all this stuff they're doing is going to be for everyone.
Hold on, let me see something here. 1, 2. Right. Hold up. Let me see something. One moment. Check 1, 2. All right. Yeah. Here's the issue real quick, right? Let's see. 1 second. Here's the issue. 1 moment. 1 moment here. 1 second, bro.
No problem.
Okay. Here's the issue. There's a few things that we can mirror, right? And I'll give you the last word. That happened, you know, as far as events that happened in those countries that have led to a population that really have no recourse against anything tyrannical, right?
Absolutely.
Years ago there was a school shootings in Dublin, England, and they also did this and they did it in England, the UK, in Dublin, and there was a shooting years ago in Australia about the kids. And this led the country into passing legislation to take away the right to bear arms. And that's what these things happened that led them to a place where the people are, they are defenseless. They don't have anything to defend themselves. So this is why you can easily push those types of scenarios on them. Now, what have happened within the last 15, 20 years? We hear about a shooting every day. We hear about all these other things. And yes, you had the Sandy Hook thing and all these things, which they said will lead to now more stringent gun laws. You've been hearing gun laws. Because America, not like any other country, have what's synonymous to a standing army just in its citizens. So so you have to go about that a different way with an armed population. But I believe that what's about to happen and what's going on is going to break the will of the people to a degree where for subsistence, they'll be willing to trade in their freedom for subsistence. So that's all I can say on that. You have the last word, but great point. But really, we can't really bring up certain people here because really, what really had me interested in, like, believe it or not, when YouTube first began, it was just you can get online and just say what you see. That's what YouTube was.
Anything.
Right? And this is what the whole thing is. This is what made YouTube interesting content because everyone knew it wasn't corporate controlled. You can actually say things that you can normally hear, in the barbershop or where sisters go to get their nails done or whatever the case is. It brought all those private little spaces so that all of us can get a window into different segments of society, including another segment that was on YouTube. You would go there because there was conspiracy stuff out there too. David Icke with the lizard people and all. Listen, and guess what? People didn't really take stock of it because some of it was true, some of it was whatever. But the fact that he had the freedom to expound on it is the point. So now, even Alex Jones, some things he said was right on, and other things was like, well, okay. See, and that's why I'm glad we have the Bible as the barometer. Right? Yep. We have the Bible as the barometer. Because if you don't have the balance to understand what's true, now I can say, guess what? The conspiracy that JFK was talking about, brother, now that's real. He said there's a conspiracy that he know that he was dealing with behind closed doors, where the corporate world was trying to take away the freedom of press from the people and have it ran through corporate interests. That was a true conspiracy. See? So now I go back to the original guy who coined the phrase and made it famous before YouTube and say, well, we need to find out what the conspiracy he was talking about, what he was fighting against behind closed doors, because that's the true conspiracy, the New World Order, where freedom is taken away from the population one law at a time. You have the last word. You have the last word.
Oh, last thing is just the censorship we have to deal with on YouTube. Pretty soon we're going to have to consider using the juice word and all these different things in our private talk around our phones, because eventually they're going to use that to get people. And that's it.
Well, thank you, brother. Great call. You always have something good to say, brother. You don't have to be nervous. It's all good.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let me put you on hold. We have Joyce with a comment and a warning, and we hope, Joyce, that this warning doesn't get our page taken down.
Praise the Lord, brother. I'm glad to speak to you. My name is Joyce. I want to move into that. When you was talking about JFK and, Robert, all that was trying to take down what they had already tried to start to build, which was to keep us in slavery. Not so much. We was already physical. They also wanted to set us free, taking us out of property, and they killed them along with Martin Luther King. Robert was the general, like the one who ran the law. He definitely had to go. That's when the boy came up and shot, and he just getting out too. But to make a long story short, that, what's his name? Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah, he came in and took over John's place like he did it. That's when Democrats came up.
Well, thank you, sister.
But to make a long story short, what we going through now, and you got to be strong. I'm going to tell you, we need each other. But a lot of our people of color, has traded us in. Because just like they said that the Jews.
Well, thank you, sister. I got to go to the next call. I got to go to the next call.
But you did a lot of talking yourself. Okay, you had a blessed night. Peace out.
Thank you, sister.
That's okay. Peace out.
No, it's okay because you. Sorry, I'm sorry, sister. You were saying to make a long story short, but we have to have things within the content to keep it going, okay? We have to keep it interesting here. All due respect, I apologize. So when you say you're going to make a long story short, I'm going to take you in on that. Now, I know you're saying that I say it a whole lot. Well, I have to say a whole lot. I'm hosting a program, so I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you here, okay? Okay, Zedekiah has a comment. Okay?
Shalom, Elder.
How are you?
I'm good. I was at the Feast of Tabernacles this past week. I saw you. I said shalom. Man, Yasharala, it is unreal to be amongst our people when we're all following the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Higher. It is an experience that I've never felt before a day in my life. I just wanted to give a shout out to the entire church of GOCC, especially everybody that I've met there at the Tabernacles. I got baptized this past Sunday by Elder Gabar, Officer Zachariah, and the family. Shout out to y'all, GOCC New York. And much love, Barakatah. And I have a comment.
Okay.
So I used to work at this store, and I'm telling you, man, I've seen this store make so much money just from selling water. And when you mentioned I believe it was the Asians having a lemonade stand or whatever that was earlier, it just lit a light bulb in my head, and it just had me thinking, man, you can make money doing anything nowadays. You can make money selling water. You can make money selling socks like Nipsey Hussle. There is no excuse for our people to be settling for jobs when we could be making money selling anything, flipping dollars. We do it naturally on the streets in the ghetto. We could do it, even if we're not living in those communities, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, it was really empowering what you were saying before. And it's crazy. The Most High works in mysterious ways, and he's definitely a merciful, God. And he puts us in positions where we have to empower ourselves, and we just see, testimonies on top of testimonies within ourselves, especially when we're in the body, and we got to utilize that and lack of a better way of saying it, to weaponize that for our own people, for our own communities, no matter the cost.
Well, thank you, brother.
And yeah, no problem. The water for this opportunity, Elder.
Well, thank you, brother, and welcome to the body. And let me tell you this. I want to say this, sister, if you're listening, we're not doing this to offend anyone, okay? It's about the content and making sure the content, you understand, stays at a flow for edification, okay? It have to edify, okay? And that's the whole thing. We have a show, and the show have to have an ebb and flow, okay? Knowing that what? It has a time limit. We only got a few more minutes before this thing shuts down, okay? The other thing that I missed out there, this guy, he has a great channel, Professor Black Truth, and I wanted to say something and shout out that brother real quick, because there's one point that he made that I was listening to for the last the last year or so. He was saying, listen, all this other stuff that they got out there and all this stuff that they claiming for poor people, nah, all that's over. What Professor Black Truth said, and I'm going to actually quote him on this: cut the check. That's what it's about. Not you pumping money into other scenarios, weaponizing legislation against us. No. He said, and I'm glad he said that. He said, listen, since this whole thing happened since 2020, they have taken reparations off of the table. And everything else is just smoke and mirrors to try to not, if you can have trillions of dollars for a disease that came out of nowhere, okay, and you found the money for that. If you can find $55 million or a few $1 billion to stop Asian hate. Because, hey, if you cut the check for the descendants of slaves, we will see fit on how to build our immunity and get property and eat well so that you don't have to worry about us falling sick. So I wanted to say that out there. I wanted to put that out there because I respect not everything. Who's going to agree with everything someone says? I'm sure if he's seen my video, he wouldn't agree with everything I say. But one thing I can agree with Professor Black Truth with, that no, the descendants of slaves and those who worked for this country built this country. And you took NAFTA and all the jobs that would have emboldened our people financially and shifted off to Asia, shifted off to China. And now a disease come from China that makes us, that makes us the disease? No. Cut the check. Our people, that's what we need. Not no stimulus. Let's see here. You can have reparations for Japanese internment camps. You can have reparations for this. And our people, there was no 40 acres and a mule. We suffered in this country through all generations, built this country. There's no such thing as black history. American history is black history. Okay? And it's time for brothers and sisters to stop falling for these tricks, these baits and switches when it comes to the power structure's responsibility to those who made this country and this world great. 509 area code. Now, 313 area code. 313 area code. You're live.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. How are you?
Shalom, Jackie from Detroit.
Shalom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I had a chance to participate in the Feast of Tabernacles. It was wonderful. And the thing that really stood out is just watching the brothers and sisters fellowship and intermingle with one another. Yesterday, when you did the program and you made the announcement about prayer, I immediately went into prayer, but then
Thank you.
I went back to listen to it again, and it just hit me all over again. So I started calling other sisters on the phone, and we got together and prayed again. So I'm so thankful. Yes, we got together, and it was like at the 12th hour, I sent out a message. And within an hour, I said, well, we're going to be praying at 11:30, and they were there, and we were praying, and we're so thankful for the breakthrough and for the healing. I love Sister Shirley. I listen to the broadcast on Mondays, and so and just to see you, I heard the cry. You was like, pray, pray. And I just want to tell everybody it's time for us to push the plate back and to pray for one another, and to take up our spiritual weapons and use it against the enemy. And prayer is the weapon. There's no weapon formed against us by the enemy will prosper. And when we pray, he hears us and he heard us. And I'm so thankful, Elder, that you're okay. Tony is okay. Leonard is okay. And Sister Shirley is okay. Thank you.
That's right. And sister, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you the power of you all's prayers. It was only a few hours after that particular broadcast, sister, that that we got a call from Sister Shirley and said that he already sound 100% better already. And it was a few hours after, before midnight came. I mean, I believe I got the news on Leonard in the hospital before my brother Tony.
Wow.
And they was talking about discharging Leonard last night, early in the morning. They was going to just wait in the morning, just let him go. He's doing well. And, I'll probably get him and Shirley on what he did. Just want him to rest right now. But, sister, thank you for your prayers because they work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bless you, sister.
Always my pleasure. It's always a pleasure to attack the enemy, come back at him.
Thank you. Okay, going down the line, Janicia, 831 area code.
Hello?
Yes, Janicia, you're live with the program. A Gathering of Christ.
I And those are like you said like the what, like how we navigating through all these days.
Hey, sister, your phone is your phone is distorted right now. There's a distortion. I can't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Turn the volume of your phone down.
How about now?
That's better. Go on.
Okay. The way we're pretty much navigating is, it's kind of like a weird. Like I actually did not expect the fall to be so gradual. You know, so like that's one part that kind of like got me like, whoa, because everything's just still so normal in a way right now, even though I know that things are not going to be normal forever, but it's like the being around people is just like, wow, everybody go about their daily lives and nothing really feel like it's really going on, but you know it will. I've even seen some stores in our location, some places close down, some places open up, and I've seen some places starting to look like they're like a Dollar Tree in our area. It's looking like it's struggling a bit with items. Like I knew something was up with this Dollar Tree when I saw that they weren't even stocked on candles or beauty supplies, and I mean like nobody's panic buying no darn beauty supplies or candles. I can understand toilet paper, but beauty supplies and candles, they can't even stock up on that. I'm even hearing other people, because I like to listen to people on YouTube and things. One guy I was listening to, he said that he was in a more like out of the city area, and he said that he was walking around in the stores and the stores were like empty, and he asked them what's going on. They said, oh, we're just struggling to get some things in. And I even noticed barely anything really going on in my area, but it's like meat went up, and kind of seeing like meat is like the shelves for meat is empty. A lot of people say,
hey, sister,
Walmart, empty.
Sister, I'm sorry, I can't. Right now, your phone is bad. I tried to withstand it, but
sorry.
I got your points that you made about the stores closing down. I apologize, but we can't drudge through these. I'm sorry, your phone is bad. All right, so I'm going to place you on hold, and I'm gonna go to the next call. All right, sorry about that. All right. 216 area code. Bino has a comment.
How you doing? Shalom.
Shalom. How are you? You're live on the broadcast.
I'm doing all right. I just had a comment about the topic. Everything that you pointing out. You know,
hey, brother,
it is the truth.
Brother, I don't know if you're moving around, but your phone isn't right either. And I know it's not our side. So just relax. Speak directly into the mic.
Can you hear me now?
All right, go on.
I was saying everything that you was bringing out is the truth. And I just wanted to say that as a people, as a family, we should come together and get ourselves together individually and also as a community, just as the enemies, you know, they came together as one for our fall, that we all should, you know, come together for our rise, because the time is getting closer and closer, and
that's true.
We need to get it together, you know, once first for, you know, our individual selves. And then we also need to come together and build, you know, as a community.
Yeah, you're right.
Also,
let me ask you that, because that's general, right? What ideas do you have for that?
Well, my ideas are first, which comes with everybody, each in our visual self, as far as we need to pray and fast. To get our souls together. I was recently watching an old video of you and Elder Lawyer about praying and fasting.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Praying and fasting. All right. So how do you bring that praying and fasting into real time in preparation that will play out in the physical?
Well, first,
okay, you don't got to worry about it. I don't want to put you on the spot. This is what you got to do, because this is what I need. What we're putting out there, especially for brothers. Hence the reason why we're going into the male classes. We're going to have those every Thursday after the tabernacle. Thursday nights will be the brother classes that we'll do locally. And what we're going to be talking about is what? Real-time planning, nothing general, right? We have to bring workshops back. We have to bring things where wood shops and all those things, those that have trades, teach brothers trades inside the church. And it doesn't matter. Every man is supposed to have a business outside of where you work. Even if it's going to buy oranges and going on a corner and selling those things for 25 cents or 15 cents more than what you purchased them for. Every man should have a business. Why? It comes down to this. A just weight for a just measure. No, let me tell you, faith without works is dead. Prayer is just the beginning. Just like when the Most High sent a prayer through prayer and sleep, he sent the vision of one day being above his 12, his brothers, his 11 brothers. And that was fulfilled in Egypt. Even though the Most High showed him that vision, guess what? He had to prepare in real time during that 7-year plenty, knowing that a 7-year famine was coming. See? He knew a 7-year famine was coming. So he had to take that prayer and his understanding and connection with the Most High and put it into real time. A famine is coming. So we have to stop thinking general. Because why? And that's good. We're thinking about everyone. But then there's an accountability to make sure there isn't weak links. Right? So,
right.
Like for instance, my father used to give me a $2 allowance, right? And I was looking forward to that $2 allowance ever since I was 5 years old. He would come home. He was a carpenter, and it's weird. He worked in Bethlehem, PA. And he would come. It was him and Bob next door. He would come home. They was working at Bethlehem, PA. And every Thursday, he would give me $2. And here it is. I'm getting taller and taller and taller. Growing. Still looking for that same $2. So I was 5. Then I was 7. Then I was 8. Even though I started dancing and doing all that other stuff, I was still expecting that same $2. $2 went a long way. You had Susan B. Anthony coins. You had $2 certificates, all types of stuff. And I was like, yo, I'll put the silver dollars away, $2. And I look forward to that. And one day, brother, my father didn't give me the $2. I was like, what's going on? You just gave my little brother, you gave Tony $2. You gave Anton $2. Where's my $2? And you know what he did, brother? He pointed to his hammer and the wood he had left from the job he came from. He says, no, I got a plan for you, June. I'm like, what? He says, you're going to make more than $2 over there. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I need my $2. He says, no, you go make yourself a shoe shine box out of there. And you go down to 15th and Market and you shine shoes. He said, you take the subway, Susquehanna Avenue, and you go down to 15th and Market and you shine shoes. And I was spit shining. $4, $5, getting tips. I started singing, dancing, splitting. Next thing you know, I would get $10 with it. And next thing you know, I'll come home with all this money. And my father say, you need $2 now? So it wasn't a general idea, right? He made me pull something from myself that I didn't know existed with scraps. And guess what, brother? What I didn't realize, where my father sent me, 15th and Market at the clothespin, was the first place I spoke as an Israelite teaching this truth. I didn't know when I was making that shoebox, that the Most High would one day have me there with a mitre and fringes on, bringing back the children of Jacob. And I'm saying this to you to say, listen, now you can't think general no more. What you have to do is you have to come, every man. It's not upon the women. Every man must come with a personal plan. That means when you come with your plan, you're making the change stronger. Got it?
Yeah, I got it. You put it together better than I could.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to get so far. Is it starts with the prayer and getting that connection with the Most High, and then you have to put in that work.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
There it is.
So you put it together. Exactly.
Okay. Well, listen. Everyone isn't.
I want to bring it out.
Listen, everyone isn't a teacher, but I'm sure your mind works, and if you put your mind to something, you're a son of Jacob. It'll get accomplished. I don't have no doubt about that. Right? Everyone, listen, there's many members to a body. I don't expect, but what we're doing is we're stimulating thought. Knowing that they're pulling the plug on Babylon and there will be no subsidies, no Medicare, there'll be no nothing left. We're not going back. They're not going backwards in the New World Order. They're progressing it. And I only did that not to challenge you, brother, not at all. Because this is a broadcast. I want you to think. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, this is my first time online, so I mean, I do have a lot of thoughts. If you want to take my number down, we could, have a time to talk.
Okay, we can chop it up.
Some
as y'all say.
That I can really talk to you.
Okay, what's your name again?
Beno, Beno.
Okay, a sister did give me a pad for this, and I'm still grabbing paper. I didn't thank you, sister, for giving me a pad for my notes, but Beno, right? I got you. I'll call you. Get ready for the work, Beno. Bless you.
Bless you too.
All right, shalom. And let me say also, shout out to the brothers. I seen a video or a picture of brothers on the border. I think it's UPK that are actually feeding Levites at the border. Hey, shout out to those brothers. 214 area code.
Hi, Elder. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I am Sister D, calling from the Los Angeles body. Love the show.
Bless you.
Love the Hebrew and Bible Academy. And, I've been watching you guys and following you all for a long while. And with all of this happening, I'm one of those people that basically did kind of, I need to get involved with the body. So that's kind of how I'm preparing for this New World Order chaos, is just being a part of a local body. So shout out to Deacon Tazadak and his wife. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I actually took the baptism classes. I'll be baptized, and staying in the Word, staying in tune to what you all are teaching and saying is how I'm getting through this. Not being anxious, standing on the scriptures. I know you started the show off with Matthew 6:33, and just seeking the Most High first, seeking His kingdom and His righteousness, knowing that all things will be added to us. And there, when it says in Scripture, Matthew 6:34, when you said this, that is definitely a scripture to stand on. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So I thank you for your teaching and your wisdom.
Well, thank you, sister, and welcome to the body, and keep your prayers out there for us. We bless you and we thank you, okay?
I did want to make one comment, though, about being single.
Okay.
In this time. You did have a show a couple weeks back, and, I think I'm learning more of how to be a virtuous woman and how to be submissive when that opportunity comes for I'm in the process of going through a divorce, and just kind of healing and getting myself together for that. So it would be nice to have someone to go through this time with, especially a man. So sisters, if you have a man out there, hold on to your man.
Sister, let me ask you this, because you're saying hold on to your man, right?
Yeah.
Y'all two are still married. Why don't you hold on to him?
No, there's no going back, and I need a brother that's in this faith, and basically he cheated on me, and you mentioned that, and it could have been forgivable, but he's a bit of a con artist, and he was being deceitful. He's being deceptive.
Hey, sister, I can't do that. And the reason why I can't do that, the Bible says that all words be established before 2 or more witnesses. If he was on the line, he would have all these another story, and he would be calling you something. And we can't do that. We can't do that.
No, I'm just being honest with you.
No, I'm just saying, because
it didn't work out.
Yeah, I understand. I didn't challenge you. I didn't say go back to him. But we have we have to stop this publicly berating our choices. We have to do it. At the end of the day,
but don't you have to call things what they are?
No,
if
no,
he was
no,
being deceptive and deceiving people out of money.
Sister, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not doing what you said he's doing. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a certain level of integrity we must own when we are speaking publicly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because one day your family gonna hear this, your child can hear this, and no matter what you're feeling emotional, when you put this stuff on the internet, it don't go back. So we have to.
Yeah, well, nobody in my family wants me to ever go back.
But listen.
You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things to reason why I'm not gonna hold on to that man.
It's called being honorable to the absent. And that's why Christ said, that's why Christ said in Matthew 5, hey, turn the other cheek, this, that, and the other. These are these darts that create something in us that comes out at the inopportune time. I'm just saying, I'm just asking you, because it's better before things go down to have someone you know, because we all have things with us, and work on the things.
There's better out there. There's better out there.
Sister, listen. All right, sister. Well, listen, I don't know the situation, but I'm saying it's best that we don't air our dirty laundry out in our relationships publicly.
I'll remember that. Thank you, Elder. I appreciate that.
Bless you. All right.
Bless you.
All right. No, because I'm not saying what she's saying is incorrect through her observation. It's just that there's a certain standard we must set where I can't go out there, and even if I had a relationship and it didn't work out, you'll never hear me on somewhere trying to, obviously there was something wrong if it didn't work out. Right? So, but we have to have some honor to the absent, because I'm sure he would have an entirely different story and have some stuff to say about her. And the Bible says, without 2 or more witnesses, let all things be established, which means if he's all those things, well, okay, or she's all those things that he might say, that's where we pray together, navigate through the chaos, and come to a mutual union as adults, one way or the other. Because soon, I may tell you, on another level, a nation divided against itself cannot stand. Well, there's no nation without marriage. So,
muted.
All right.
Unmuted.
Chris 202. And sister, I'll make sure we say a prayer for you. Sanzi, I'm gonna bring you in one moment. Elder Lawyer, you have anything to say, or are you good? Before I do that, let me put this out there. I need you all to go to A Gathering 144. A Gathering 144. I need you all to go there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell to get this up to 100,000 subscribers. Our main channel. I'm going to ask you for that help. Elder Lawyer, you have anything to say, or you're good before I go to the next call?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm good.
All right. Okay. We're going to break down soon. Let's go to Sanzi 706 area code.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm blessed, just like you are. I just want to say thank you, Elder, for all the teaching. You, Elder Lord, and all the other elders for what I have learned. I'm 66 years old. My son brought me into the truth, and ever since I did that, then I've been on it. I'm now right now in I'm in your second academy class. And
thank you, sister. Thank you.
And I'm ready to get baptized, and I understand what the NWO is, because when the Rosa Parks thing went on, I was in that time. I was a little girl, but I remember. I remember, you know, a lot of things, you know, that have changed. The Black Panthers, I seen that. So I just thank you for just the teaching. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand why we are going through what we are going through. Okay, and that's gonna make it better for me and my family. I got a great grandson. My granddaughter just had, and I intend to teach him these laws and ways that I did not know, and my mother did not know either. So I just like to thank all of y'all, Elder. I love y'all all. Okay, and keep up the work, and I'll be glad when I can get baptized.
Well, thank you, sister, and I thank you for becoming a member of our Hebrew and Bible Academy, and we're prepping up for the next one. I'll see you this weekend, okay?
All right. Shalom.
Shalom. Bless you. All right, that's Sanzi. I've already went 30 minutes over, almost 4 minutes left. I only got 4 more minutes, and this will conclude our broadcast for this evening. Chris has a comment.
Hey, how you doing? Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, how are you?
Yes, sir. All praise to Ahaya, the Shem Yeshaya, Wawa. Elder, before I get into what's going on, I did write a song, and I know it's definitely for you, so hopefully you write down my number and I could talk to you about it. But what I wanted to discuss
Hold
is...
Hold up. You can't just put something out there like that. Let's hear the hook.
Okay. I can't sing, but I can write. It's called. The hook goes. One day you will feel. One day you will feel. One day you will feel like you belong. And this is about being back in Israel.
Okay. All right. Here you go.
yeah.
All right. What's your comment?
Okay. I just recently got married. And what happened was, since I've been in the truth, and somebody introduced me to GOC, and I've been in the academy, and I've been learning. And with my wife, she went to the hospital. Now, what happened was, when I first met her, I used to pray with her because she's learning, and we used to pray to Ahaya in Yeshua's name. And she was told that she would never be able to have a baby. Okay. Now, every day I used to pray with her, every day praying. So she started getting ill, and next thing you know, she ended up. We went to the doctors, and I knew that she was pregnant, Elder. I knew it, and the doctor came in there. The doctor said, "Well, my wife, she tried to leave out that she missed her cycle." So the doctor said, "Well, I'm gonna test for that first." So when she came back, she said positive. So my wife was there like, what? Like, you know what I mean? They're positive. So, you know what I mean? But my wife didn't realize that she went to go test for her the pregnancy first. It didn't comprehend because she was so still ill. So, you know, kind of found she was pregnant. She was crying. So I wanted to let you guys know that until now that she's in the hospital now, and she's been diagnosed with the medical, and I wanted and I was there the whole time, so I know what happened. What they said was they was going to test her blood. Now they said it was going to take like a few days for the results to come back, but they kept coming in there and asking about that medical. You know what I mean? It's like they was and you know, and by us learning and from our elders and gaining a way to be able to talk to these people, it's like, I was letting them know that, I just got to do my research on it. But it kept on like, the last time they came in there, they kind of like, I had their backs turned towards me, and one of the nurses looked at me as if, I was going to intervene, and they tried to ask her again to take the swab medical. And, she refused. But when they said that the blood was going to come back within a couple of days, they came back with the results less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, and right. And the reason why I say that, because, with the implying, and the first thing they said, Elder, because the other day you said something
Hey,
that
brother,
was very
brother, I need you to slow down.
Right.
Slow down. Okay? Because you're thinking before you get it out. Okay,
Right,
go.
right. Okay. The other day you said something that was very, very potent that we need to take heed to. You said respiratory infection. Now, when they came into the room, that was the first thing that they said it was not. But when they said that it was going to take a couple of days for the results to come back, that result came back within less than 24 hours. So they was being deceptive. And now what they said was that the only way that they can find out whether or not you got the medical is through the swab. Now, that's the words out their mouth. So when they did the blood test and it came back, I said to my wife, I said, well, remember they said that the only way that they could the results would come back was the swab. So they was being deceptive.
Yeah, so what you're saying in a nutshell, brother, is that they were telling you one thing to try to force you into the procedure, but when you did it the regular way with them swabbing blood, they got the results anyway without you actually being able to do that. So you're trying to stay away from all these other procedures and watch your wife, being that she's having a baby, to make sure nothing happens with that baby.
Right, yes, yeah. And that's why we definitely need y'all prayers. Her name is Kiva, and and that's the thing about this.
Her name is what?
When you, her name is Kiva.
All right, let's stop there. Tiva. Okay, brother. So I got your number there. We're gonna give you a call. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, hold on. Chris, having a baby. You have to look out. Don't forget what happened and read Exodus 1 about when we began to multiply, what Pharaoh's plan was for those boys.
Right.
So let's see. That's the most I can say. Let me have your name again.
Chris. And I'm having a boy, Elder, and she was not supposed to have no children.
I got you. Praise the Most High. There it is. The Most High bless Chris. So you're having my baby. Is having a baby. All right. With that, we're going to say shalom. Before we do that, let me bring in Elder Lawyer. I'm going to call you after the broadcast. Don't worry about that. Elder Lawyer is gone.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna end. Let's end Blog Talk real quick. Let's see here. Thank you for the callers. All the callers were great. And we're going to end it at Tabernacles. Let's call
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Let's call in AC real quick. So see what's going on over there at Tabernacles. Let's see. All right, Anthony. AC, I'm calling you now. Shalom, AC. You said you wanted me to call you. What's going on? Oh, they go Elder Gabar.
You want to be in the back? Yeah.
I think I can hear myself in there.
Okay, shalom, Elder. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on? Live at the Tabernacles, Elder Gabar.
So we here, AC, if you don't mind, you want to maybe pan the camera. We are enjoying the show here at the GOCC. Rented PA. I don't know if you can see us out in your end.
I can see you. I can see you. Pan it over a little bit more.
All right. Okay, pan it a little more to the audience. Say hello, everybody. Say shalom, wave to the elder. We're live. All
right. Thank you all for staying up. I know they had some good meals. So what's going on? Talk to us. I'm about to break down. You go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, I see it. Does anybody have any questions for the elder before he ends it? No? Okay. All right. He's happy to be here, elder. He's having a good time. We enjoyed the show. You know, hope we'll see you next week to end the feast.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have a good time. You know, Friday we're gonna have the last family fun day. We're gonna have all the vendors out here. We're gonna probably do a volleyball competition. We're gonna have a good time before we head out of here.
Okay. Hold up. They can't see you. What I'm doing? Go ahead. What you saying? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Show them again. They couldn't see y'all. One more again.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Pan it one more time. Come on. What I'm doing?
I
got you.
One more time, HC.
Pan it one more time. One more again.
Say hello again.
There you go. There you go, my
It's a little delayed, so you see it. Say hello. Wave to everybody. Wave to the other again.
Come on. Live at Tabernacle.
We're live here. Everybody else is at 10 because it's a storm coming around 3, or it's going to be rainy. So everybody's it's setting. Here we go. There we go.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you
All
what,
right.
Elder Gabar, well, make sure the people are safe. I know you're doing that. You're looking out, man. You know we love you over there. And if anyone is feeling under the weather, I know they try to storm it through, but hey, if they have to go to a hotel or even go home and come back, listen, we have to make sure our people make it. We have to make sure that for no reason they don't come down with something that would lead to a hospital. Okay, family.
Absolutely.
And Elder Lawyer. I mean, I'll say shalom to Elder Lawyer. And as we can see at the Feast of Tabernacles, hey, get used to that because we're going to be out there all together as a nation very, very soon. So I'll call you back, and of course, I got to put on the song, but you have the last word.
Shalom, Elder. We just enjoying the show. You know, we'll be here. I'll see you hopefully in a few days for the feast.
My man. And guess what? The Most High is calling back Israel. Elder Gabar. Shalom. Hebrew and Bible Academy, historytimes.org.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
721 BC. The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans.